play.
Oh, we are already live.
Yeah.
I was on the
I
other
was-
tab, and I'm
I
like,
was
yeah,
I was waiting for some intro,
okay,
but
yeah. I was just in some other tab, but
yeah.
we can do the intro. Welcome, guys. This is going to be the Carlos Alcaraz versus Holger Rune quarterfinal watch along. Of course, you've seen this many times on the channel. I don't know if you've seen a watch along for Carlos Alcaraz against Holger Rune, though. Definitely not for the next gen finals. Definitely not for the Le Petit A. Maybe it was there for Paris 2022. Of course, I'm talking about the Bercy indoor event. But yeah, just how exciting is this matchup, Vansh, and like how big a glimpse into the future are we going to get today?
Yeah, every time we see a matchup now between Sinner, Alcaraz, and Rune, and all those intergenerational rivalries, I'm always really excited, just because I mean this has everything, right? I mean it's kind of they're 6 days apart. They've Rune has had a huge breakthrough, basically in the fall of last year, and he's kept that momentum going. Not always super consistent week in and week out, but very much a top six guy this year. And to see him play Alcaraz and just kind of prove that he's the guy. And these two are the leading contenders for this generation. And so to see them play in a big best of five set match where and we don't actually know that too much what to expect because we don't have a whole lot of data really, um, but I'm just really excited to see how the rallies are going to unfold, and who's going to be more aggressive on the first shot after the serve, and what tactics is Runa going to use to try to absorb pace, and how good is his backhand going to be. I have all these like sort of ideas or tactics playing in my head of like type of points that we're going to see, but it may not actually pan out at all like that. And so that's what makes this really exciting.
Yeah, and they're like both of them are like a lot more complete than Sinner. So I feel like whether whenever we watch a Sinner Rune, a Sinner Alcaraz match, we more or less have the idea about the patterns of play. But here it could be really different to the previous two matches of theirs. Of course, Alcaraz is like further ahead in his development, so that's how he won the next gen finals. I think Rune was maybe still outside the top 100 even when they played in Milan, and Alcaraz was, of course, already like 30-ish in the rankings. Then Paris, Alcaraz getting injured, but also it was probably the best event that Rune has had so far, and of course 5 top 10 wins, which is a record that maybe will never be broken by anyone in a single ATP 1000 event.
Yeah.
So yeah, the matches that they played did not tell us much in regards to what we're gonna see today. Also, the factor of grass, where both of them still lack experience. Rune didn't have a single win on it going into 2023, and right now he's actually looking great. But of course, Alcaraz even better with the Queen's title. It's not like he had that much experience on this surface before 2023, but he had definitely more than Rune. So yeah, it's just really exciting and wild to think that these guys basically since they were like 12, 13, they've been meeting in a lot of these events and like always regarded as the biggest prodigies of the 2003 age group. As you said, just 6 days apart. Isn't like 7 or something, but that doesn't matter.
I think
Um,
May 5th
um,
and April 29th, but I think
yes, I
in a
guess
way it's
depending
kind
how
of,
you count. Depending how you
yeah.
count, I suppose.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
so it's 7 or 6, I guess. But
But
yeah.
it's very much
Mhm.
Djokovic Murray-esque in that kind of
Yeah,
sense.
absolutely.
Like they've grown up, played La Petita and junior since they were 10 or 12, and pretty decent friends. I think they get along pretty well as well. It was kind of interesting when they were asked in the press conference before this. They were asked, which shot of the other one
Hmm.
would you take? And I thought that was they gave classic responses that you would expect based on their character. Rune was like, I don't think I would take any. I really back myself, and but if I had to pick one, maybe I'll go for the forehand drop shot. And then for Alcaraz, he was asked the same thing, and he said he'll take Rune as a backhand. So I thought that was that was interesting, pretty
I haven't
revealing.
read it, but yeah, these are pretty fair answers. And yeah, you mentioned, I guess I mentioned it first, but you also mentioned Le Petit A, and they play doubles there, so we have like all
Yeah.
these photos of them when they were 13. on the same side of the net, which is pretty crazy. And also, I just saw today on Twitter, I think the draw for the 2017 event of Le
Yes.
Petit A, and Rune being the top seed, Alcaraz being the 12th seed actually.
Mm.
But of course they were up there, and Alcaraz, being with the fact that at the age of 14 he reached an ITF quarterfinal, he was obviously a less prominent figure in the juniors than Rune was, because he was already
Yeah.
kind of too good for it, and he never really focused on it properly. I think his career high in the juniors was like 22, and
Okay.
Rune was of course the number one after winning Grand Garros 2 years ago. That would be right. 2 years ago or 2 years ago. 3 years ago was Stricker, I think. So that's
2021,
pretty crazy. Even
he won juniors.
I think so. Right? Which year was
Is that
that?
right? It was
2021 or
2021.
2020? I
No
cannot.
way. I
2020
thought
or
it was like
2021?
I did not know it was that soon.
I
let me
I'm not
double
I'm not
check.
sure. It's 20 or 21, right?
Was it 19? I have a feeling it
No,
might have been
19. You're
2019.
right.
Oh, okay.
21 is already Van Asch against Fields, right? The
Okay. Yeah.
all four French players. Yeah, recent years in my memory are generally like the same. I
Okay.
always mix up the last few years. That
But
this
that's still amazing.
knowledge has not set in.
He was barely 16 when he won it.
Yeah,
So
uh,
yeah.
2019. Yes, you're right. 2020 was Stricker, and 2021 was Van Asch against Fields. But yeah, that's pretty crazy, and just always the guys that everyone was looking at. They had some detours for sure, especially maybe Rune when he was getting all of these wildcards at the beginning of 2020. And I remember everyone
Yeah.
on Twitter was like, "You're not getting that much out of it, Holger. I mean, stop playing it. Just start playing ITFs." Did Alcaraz have any detours? I don't really think so.
No.
Rune had a brief moment like this, but
Yeah.
ever since the post-pandemic restart, he was back to his fantastic best, and
Yeah.
we see where he is right now. So how are we on the match? Where are we currently?
Mine hasn't even. I mean, I think the players are warming up right now, or they're coming on court. I'm still kind of getting. I'm watching on the ESPN feed in the US. So right now they're still
Okay.
breaking down the match. I don't have the volume on, but they're just doing some pre-match analysis.
I think I can get the court. Yeah, they're basically at the net right now. The umpires
Okay.
explaining to them, the rules and etc. There's also a Twitch commenter
Okay.
in our
So
chat
okay,
from
I
Murcia.
actually I'm gonna try to refresh this so that I can catch up to you because
Um,
I don't
I
want to
mean,
be
maybe
behind.
depending on like where your stream will be, I can also try to find another one that would be more fitting, because the one I am on right now is like almost real time. So I can also,
Okay.
find another one that's slightly more delayed. That's not an issue, but like for now, I'm there. But I have like a couple of other options in mind, I suppose. Yeah, and there's someone in our chat, as I said, from Murcia,
Yeah,
and he
that's cool.
hopes that Alcaraz destroys Rune, which is very understandable.
Yeah.
Personally, like I would be surprised if it's just the match ends in straight sets. Like that would be a
Yeah.
disappointment for me. Otherwise, I'm fine with both winners. I just want to see this matchup because it's still so fresh, and we just haven't had the chance to witness it that many times. At least in the pros, I was not watching Le Petit A in 2017 or whenever they played it. Yeah. So they should be, yeah, they're basically starting to warm up now.
Okay.
And what was Nurlan saying? I think you are a fantastic duo. Thank you, Nurlan. What do we think about us being a fantastic duo? I mean, we kind of have to agree.
Yeah.
you know, we just started like a podcast together, right? I mean,
Yeah.
certainly we do like the chemistry of the duo as well. But
Yeah.
when it comes to Rune and Alcaraz, I also think they are going to be a fantastic duo today on the court. At least I hope so. I think looking at like the odds and where they are, I think Rune is a touch undervalued. Like if you put Medvedev and Rune, Eubanks and Rune at a fairly similar chance of winning today, I would say that's not really accurate. However, Chris Eubanks is now a break point away from, just basically a point away from a 5-1 lead in the second set. So
yeah, that's been an interesting match to follow so far.
yeah, I've
With,
only seen the first
Medvedev,
set. That was when I stopped watching, so I'm not really sure what's been going on there.
yeah, same. I missed how Eubanks got the break, but I did watch the first
Yeah,
set.
me too. And the first set looked like exactly like we expected, right? So yeah, it's the second set that we have missed so far, and
Yeah.
the one that actually has been not exactly as planned. 5-1 Eubanks as well, 14 winners to 4 unforced errors. So just from the stats, it looks like he is playing some great tennis, but of course the stats could be misleading, and that's with Medvedev hitting 16 out of 18 first serves as well.
Insane.
That's
Yeah,
kind of wild.
he's hitting huge from the baseline.
Yeah, but actually, even in that first set, he was hitting some insane like forehands inside in, taking advantage of the Medvedev return position. Maybe not by serving volleying, but also by just killing whatever comes at him of that return into the open space. And that's the sort of tennis that I don't feel like Chris Eubanks was able to play even like half a year ago. But I guess a lot of the things about Eubanks's game right now have this same pattern that even half a year ago he just probably wasn't going to be able to pull this off.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just insane how one big tournament breakthrough and a top 100 breakthrough can do for your confidence, and just how quickly you can
and
actually move up from one or two
And the wild
results.
thing is, like, everyone knew that Chris Eubanks has a very good chance to break the top 100 this year because he had a good finish 2022, not much to defend after the Australian Open, right? But then in February, he actually loses to Andreozzi in the opening round at Monterrey. He loses to Feliciano Lopez, like, semi-retired is
Yes,
maybe even an understatement in
that was in
Acapulco.
Acapulco, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Indian Wells qualies, he loses to Marterer and has to play Miami qualifying too. And he
Mhm.
beats Lucas Klein in the final round of this qualifying event, 7-6 in the third. So like
Yes.
this doesn't happen, and maybe we don't have Eubanks in the Wimbledon quarters right now. Maybe if he loses that set to Klein, I think he was also a set and a break down to Borna Coric in the second
Yeah.
round. So that's such as absurd. If you just start thinking about it and like look at every match and look at every possible situation that he was in, to an extent, the same was with Antoine Bellier last year when. In San Luis Potosi, he in the first qualies round, he saved 3 match points against Calvin Emery, and then of course won the title. That's how he got into Mallorca, got to a main tour quarterfinals. So sometimes just one tight match can completely change your career.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, but what's so great about Eubanks though is after the match is over, he'll basically do the analysis for you. So, so he'll be like, oh, "Okay, yeah, let's just
So
listen to
where
what
are
this."
you on your stream right now? Because for me, Alcaraz is about to serve.
Yes, Alcaraz is about to serve as well. Rune is just walking and getting ready to return. Alcaraz just
Okay,
got 3 balls from the ball boy,
okay.
and now, of course, he'll give one
Okay,
back.
I'll look for a stream that's like slightly behind the one that I am on right now.
Okay.
We'll see if I am successful.
Yeah. I think now second serve Alcaraz, low ball. Rune standing really close to the baseline to return. Alcaraz hits a really good body serve on the second serve. Rune misses the backhand into the net.
Ooh, I think I see an ESPN stream, so that theoretically should be your
Yes.
feed.
Right now I'm watching on ESPN2 actually, and I have Eubanks and Medvedev on
Okay.
ESPN. So there should be 2 of them.
Okay. I guess I got Alcaraz Rune from ESPN too, so it should be the same. We'll see, but it should be the same probably. Oh, it's actually no, it's actually far behind. Okay, I think so. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna look for something else. But anyway, of course, you know, by all means, continue. I'm also looking at the points in the meantime.
Yeah. So 2 missed first serves from Alcaraz in this game. But Rune very aggressive on the second serve return on the previous point. Charges forward with a forehand down the line approach. Alcaraz a little bit late on the backhand and hits it in the net. Yeah, some early nerves would be understandable right now. I think for both, especially for Carlos. Second serve, and once again, Rune returning aggressively and pushes Alcaraz back behind the baseline. Alcaraz goes long on the backhand cross. So 15-30. Is this match indoors right now?
Eubanks Medvedev is.
Yeah, so I think this one is too. Interesting. If it's indoors, who do you think that favors?
I don't think it's clear. Just like nothing is really clear in this matchup. I guess it kind of depends on how Alcaraz serves, because I think if he's serving well, then maybe him, but he can also like have he can definitely have off days when it comes to that. And Rune in the indoor season last year, he showed some incredible serving himself. But yeah, I don't really think it's clear. Maybe Rune if Carlos is like not serve botting.
Yeah. By the way, really good point from Alcaraz at 15-30. Keeping the backhand deep, cross court, and then looking for the inside in and goes for a huge winner and gets it. A lot of firepower on that shot. Second serve, though. He hasn't made a single first serve yet. Ooh, Alcaraz going for the forehand drop. Rune dinks it back, and Alcaraz goes for the lob and just misses it. So that's break point. Some good defensive work by Rune there. I think Rune is very versatile when it comes to his defense. Pretty smart about how he defends and when he uses the forehand chip, especially. Didn't try to do too much with that approach. Just kept it deep and made Alcaraz come up with the pass or the lob. All right, 30-40. Oh, Alcaraz makes the first serve and he gets the free point. 132 out wide.
I think I just found something that is very, very similar to yours. So I will stay on that. Literally while you were while you were talking about the serve, that's where I saw
Ghosty
it
is
too.
back.
So it
Ghost
should
of
be fine.
James Hunt. He changed his name, huh?
Yeah. I saw it yesterday, but I actually didn't ask why. But I think he watched some Formula One movie, and that's
Yes.
that's how it happened.
Okay. I got distracted with the
Ooh,
comment. Oh, really nice cat and mouse point here.
yeah, but Rune bumps into the net.
Yeah.
And Ghosty also says that Rune Carlitos is going 8 hours at least. I kind of agree, and that's what I'm hoping for. I actually even told my dad that because usually in the evenings we try to get in at least some table tennis practice in our garage, and I even told him that like if I'm not coming out of my room in like 5 hours, that doesn't mean that I don't want to play today. That just means that Alcaraz Rune are still going.
Yeah.
It is a possibility in this match, that they're
Yeah.
going to play for 5 hours. It would be good for everyone but the winner, and I guess the
Yes.
loser as well.
It's very different from Eubanks, Medvedev, where the average rally length is like 2 or 3 shots.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Still
So
wild
Alcaraz
that
does hold.
Chris Eubanks won a set 6-1 against Daniel Medvedev.
Yeah, it's insane. And right now he's just absolutely rushing him with just so much depth and power, and he's hitting the ball so early, and especially his backhand. My goodness, I think right now in the men's game he probably has the best one-hander right now in the last 1 month.
Whoa, that's. I mean,
On grass for the way he's playing right now. Not
oh,
otherwise. Like I think once the grass season is over, then probably
I
not.
don't know,
But like,
man.
but just
Does
how much
he really?
how
Can I
much he's
really
flattening
say
it
that?
out and taking it early, and it's not getting high
Yeah,
enough.
but at the same time, he mishits like half of them. I
True,
don't
but
know.
he's done a good job in this match, especially mixing in the slice. And I thought he'd actually struggle a little bit more with the backhand cross court from Medvedev because Medvedev keeps it so low. And Eubanks 6'7", he has to get down low and dig that one out. But he's actually doing a pretty decent job right now.
I don't know if my opposition to this idea is just, based on years of watching Chris Eubanks shanking all his backhands, or is it actually,
I'm sure that was the case
straight
before.
up untrue? I don't
Oh,
know.
see,
I
look at
mean,
that! Another
can we really
amazing
take him
return.
over Dimitrov?
See, like this block return that he just diffused all this pace off the Medvedev first serve, and it just skids on the back of the baseline. And now he breaks to start set number 3, and Medvedev is just so rattled right now.
Jesus.
I mean, he's playing out of his mind the last set and a break.
Someone in my comments, like around Mallorca, said that Eubanks is basically just a challenger player still, and that he's gonna be back down there once the points drop, from Miami and from Mallorca. And the wild thing is that I don't even think at the time that guy was wrong. Like I can totally
Yeah,
understand where he was coming from. And then suddenly, right now, Chris Eubanks is, basically so close to a Wimbledon semifinal, and this opinion just looks like absolute BS right now. But I don't think really anyone could have predicted that. Even with Mallorca, the weird grass courts, the 5 match points that he saved, right, and
yeah,
yeah, in general, just the weaker quality, of course, of that event.
right.
Yeah,
But I
if
mean, he's
Eubanks really beats Nori,
9-0 in
Medvedev,
tiebreaks.
Tsitsipas.
Is that right?
Hmm?
He's 9-0 in tiebreaks now. In his last 9, I think he dropped the first. He dropped one
Um,
tiebreak against Shelton in Mallorca, and then he won his next 9.
yeah, he definitely dropped one against Shelton, so that should be true, I suppose.
That's kind of wild.
Shelton,
Him
two
and
against Rinderknecht, one against Harris, one against Nori, three against O'Connell, and one against Tsitsipas.
imagine he and Novak get to the final and then they play tiebreaks. Oh,
Um, there's a
one is on
question
the
about
line.
a free platform on which we can watch in the chat. I don't think we really can, give you like unofficial streaming info. So basically, whatever works in your country officially is what we can suggest. There's a list of broadcasters on the Wimbledon website, so you can check that out, and maybe you have it. Which of course, and it would be a shame to miss this match 100%. And of course, we'll now at 1-1 as well. Rune getting
Yep.
some free points on serve in the last couple of points of the game. Yeah.
Rune, of course, unafraid to go for big second serves, even if it means double faulting a little bit more. But I think that's a good tactic in this match, especially. Oh, another very good body serve on the second.
Yeah, Rune trying to sort of inside out it from the backhand side, but
Yeah,
no result.
Medvedev holds it low, but he's down a break. Another big serve down the tee for Alcaraz, 125.
132 was that one that he saved the breakpoint with at 30-40, right?
Yes, 132 out wide.
Yeah, it's pretty huge for Alcaraz, I guess.
Yeah.
still remember when, like, in I think it was 2021. So we already mentioned that next gen finals where he was so just way too good for everyone else. It's a great volley,
Yeah.
but that was the year, I think, when he upped his serving stats. I mean, he upped his average first serve speed by like 30 kilometers an hour or something, and it's basically stayed at this level since.
In terms of the spots, I like how he's been mixing it up a bit more this tournament, especially the wide serve on the deuce side. He's been hitting that one really well.
And that's a good one on grass too, right?
Yeah.
Especially if he plays Medvedev, that's the one that he would be using quite a
Yes.
lot. But
Like he did at Indian Wells, which was really
exactly,
effective.
just serving volleying constantly when he's serving wide.
There's
I
that
think that
awesome
return was
backhand.
in. So
Yeah.
yeah, stepping forward to the second serve returns for sure, Rune. And
Mm,
well, I'd love 30. I love 40. You're not going to be
yes.
risking that much either. So
Alcaraz's younger brother in the box watching. Jaime Alcaraz is his name, right? I think he's 10 years old. He's already very good.
I read something about him, but I cannot remember his name. But possibly you're right.
Him and I think who's that guy that plays ambidextrous or like plays with both hands?
Oh yeah.
Theodore or something.
Yeah.
I think so.
Svetan Todorov.
Something like that. Yeah.
I think so. He's from Bulgaria, right?
Yeah, I think. Oh, okay. And Alcaraz finds the inside out forehand winner and
Yeah,
holds for
lots
2-1.
of spin and it lands on the line. I think Svetan Todorov is his name, but yeah, it's Svetan
I think I was
Todorov.
thinking of yeah. I
No,
think
Svetan
Theo,
Todorov is a
I think it's
Bulgarian French historian.
Theodore Vavidov or something like that. He's like a
Yeah,
12-year-old
Fyodor
junior.
Davidov. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I mixed him up with the name of some Bulgarian historian, which is
Okay.
interesting. But yeah, Fyodor Davidov is actually playing for the States, but he is Bulgarian born.
Okay.
that's that's pretty hilarious, actually. But um, but yeah, um, Fyodor Davidov. Okay,
Yeah.
that's gonna be so wild if he ever reaches anything. I mean, there was this
Right.
Korean guy, Kim, one of the Kims from Korea. I can't remember the first name, but of course he never got that far. And
Hmm. Is there anyone you're looking out for in the juniors right now? Who's in the draw that you're
absolutely. I mean,
interested in?
Fonseca won in Roehampton, and he's still in the event. Obviously, he has had some amazing wins this year, like beating Sabo Field in the in one of the South American challengers. So that's probably still the favorite, I would say. But he doesn't have that. I mean, his draw isn't that easy. He's going to play Henry Searle in the quarterfinals. The Brit who obviously has plenty of grass experience and also did well at Roland Garros. And Tomasz Berkieta. Naturally, I am looking at him. Think in the future he's going to be an excellent grass courter. That huge serve, also how dynamic he is on the forehand. But he is playing Yaroslav Demin as well in the quarters, so that's not that easy. But like, if we could get a Berkieta Fonseca final, I would be in seventh heaven.
Yeah.
There also could be a semi-final rematch of the Roehampton final between Fonseca and Radulov still, so that would be pretty interesting as well. And in the girls singles, there's that huge story of the calendar Grand Slam potentially brewing up for Aliona Kornieva. She is 3 matches to the good at Wimbledon, so basically just 9 wins left until the possible achievement.
Interesting. Yeah. So it's actually love 30. Rune pulling a couple of shots wide. The first one on a forehand, which he actually had quite a lot of open court, missed it wide, and then here he went for too much on one of the backhand cross courts and just pulls it wide. So Alcaraz has a little bit of an opening here. It's love 30.
Yeah,
Second
we
serve, I think.
not putting that many first serves in either, Rune, but of course the sample
Yeah.
size still is pretty small. So
Yes. Jimmy Butler watching along in Alcaraz's team. They're pretty good friends, actually. He also watched him in Miami. So
Is
some
that like
star power there. He's an NBA player.
okay? I,
Yeah,
I was I was I was about to ask, is he a basketball
he's
player?
yeah. The Heat, they were in the Miami. They were in the NBA finals actually. They ended up losing in the final, but
Alcaraz just misses a
he's
return to give Rune some sort of breathing space in this game. Yeah, my knowledge about all these American sports is kind of, well, basketball is not an American sport, but let's say, oh no, the big
yeah,
four, the major
American
leagues.
League.
The
Yes.
only big four that I know is Federer, Djokovic, Nadal, and Murray.
Yeah, for me, I mostly just I follow a little bit towards the end of the season in NBA. Like, but I have a couple of favorite teams. Heat is actually one of them, and then of course there's also the Los Angeles Lakers. I like them too. But I actually used to
Yes.
play basketball before I went into tennis. Around 13,
Okay.
actually, I saw some. There was some crossover effect, in, like the footwork and some of the drills that they would make me do for basketball training and tennis training. So I just kind of used that as a way to improve my hand-eye coordination and agility and stuff like that. So, and then eventually I stopped playing like when I was 12. Alcaraz going to the slice defense. Luna with the forehand inside in, but that only opens the forehand cross for Alcaraz. But this time, Alcaraz tries to go behind him and misses the backhand in the net.
Finally, some shots of Lars Christensen on my feed instead
Yes.
of the constant Patrick Mouratoglou, but I don't think he's been in his box, right, at Wimbledon, so the cameras can now focus on the real coach, as some would say.
Yes,
I'm
Lars, right?
kind of
Lars.
laughing about it, but there's a certain sports commentator, because last year when Muratoglu joined Runa's team and like the results just got so much better
Yeah.
just after a month or something. I tweeted about it, and I got messaged by, I'm not gonna say who, but like a certain tennis commentator who, like, his goal was to make sure that Christensen is actually going to be like, remembered in all of that. And also he said that like he is the real coach, not Muratoglu, and was really negative towards Patrick, which was kind of
Interesting.
funny to me, kind of excessive. He has to be a pretty decent coach, but yeah, probably more of a TV persona as well than
I
an
always see him more
actually
as
like,
a maybe a strategy guy or a consultant. Ooh,
yeah. Ooh,
he kind
well,
of made a bit of a mess of that because he
this
got
drop
there
shot
so
gave the
quickly.
points to Alcaraz, but
Yeah,
not really because of how good it was.
it was about 4 inches long. Wasn't an amazing drop shot, but Alcaraz got away with it. So yeah, so far we haven't seen the best stuff yet, but it's still very early. This is still just the fourth game. Okay, second serve. Both guys are gonna try to figure each other out in real time, which is gonna be so exciting. Oh,
Yeah, Alcaraz was trying to go for it with that forehand return, but of course doesn't make it, and we have game point Rune. Um,
yeah. Well, Eubanks continues to consolidate his early break, and he's up 4-2.
Chris Eubanks in a Wimbledon semifinal. All due respect, that's kind of like the equivalent of the world just
Jerzy
completely
Janowicz,
falling
2013.
apart. Yeah, but like it was more expected, right?
Yeah, I mean, this would be a way more impressive run than what
Yeah,
Janowicz did.
Janovic had a pretty easy draw to the semis. I
Yeah,
think he played Jürgen Melzer in the fourth round, obviously Łukasz Kubot in the quarters.
yeah,
Cannot really remember anyone else, but yeah, it was nothing like this. It was nothing like Nori, it's Medvedev and Tsitsipas. The big
right.
story, of course, for Janovic was the fact that they came out of the Federer Nadal quarter, but neither him nor Kubot actually had to face the guys. So
Yeah,
um, Yeah, it's completely different. And also, of course, Janovic had a Masters 1000 final already and was regarded as like a potential dark horse, I guess, after Federer and Nadal went out. Because at first, obviously, no one was really looking at anyone in their quarter as potential threats.
A little bit of interesting point there. I actually missed some of that, but I know that Alcaraz went for a drop shot.
Yeah, drop shot and
When I got
then
there.
failed the lob.
Uh, yeah, Rune is looking out for them so far. I think he's caught on to them pretty well.
That serve is barely out, so it's actually going to be a second for Alcaraz. Today at in the Jabber Rybakina match, like there was that 4-1 game where Jabber just found like two lines that just
Yeah,
barely caught it, and
one was like
um,
literally a blade of grass. It was
yeah, the serve down the tee and then the forehand return. Sorry, forehand down the line. But this second serve was actually in from Alcaraz. So no, Holger Rune, you still have not won this point. You actually have to get back and
yep,
try to win it.
not so fast.
And it's a let.
Alcaraz went aggressive on the forehand, inside
Yeah.
out.
Once you sort of saw him stepping around his backhand and definitely having the ball in his strike zone, in his comfort zone. Oh, that's Alcaraz's brother. Okay, that's better remember that face, right? I mean, at least from some of the
Yes.
tweets that I read about him, he apparently is supposed to be like almost as good as Carlos, or even better. So, of
Yeah.
course, it's so hard to tell at that stage of development, but maybe I mean, at least from what I heard, it's not supposed to be a Petros Tsitsipas Stefanos Tsitsipas scenario. But now Rune finds a fantastic return forehand cross court and
Yeah, 85 miles per hour on the winner. And right now they actually just showed the average miles per hour speed
Mhm.
of topspin forehands. Runa at 71, Alcaraz averaging 85. But this return
Makes
from
sense.
Runa was actually 85, so huge. Yeah, when Runa connects really well, watch out because he can take the ball really early. And
There's a net cord from Rune that
yeah,
kind of gives Alcaraz the edge in the point, and he capitalizes to
yes.
30 all.
Yeah, Alcaraz looking to play with his forehand inside the court and be the one forcing the issue like he likes to do
Yeah, once he gets there, like it's gonna be so hard to turn the point around for Rune and for anyone else,
for
basically
anyone. Yeah.
on grass, especially.
Both of them going to the backhand slice. Alcaraz slice approach cross court. Very good volley. Runa gets there. Alcaraz with a
Should be,
spectacular
yeah. Great
backhand.
point. And lots of like grass court, lots of like grass court tactics here with
Yeah.
Alcaraz with that slice approach. Probably not something he was hitting on clay most of the time, but here, of course, it actually works. And the volley was quite spectacular too. The volley won him the point,
Yes.
even though he also had to hit one more shot after that, of course.
Honestly, looking at the top 10, these two guys have
Hmm.
really good backhand slices.
Yeah, most of the guys don't
Very
really
good
use
on
it
grass.
that much, right? Like,
Yeah. Another fantastic point from Alcaraz. the forehand doing a good amount of damage right now. Right now, say that's the biggest shot on the court right now, since neither guy is really that good right now with their first serve. But still, good thing about Alcaraz is that his second serve is so has one of the best second serves right now in the game, where he's still able to set up the +1 on the following shot after that, and he still feels really dangerous, even with a lower first serve percentage. But let's see how long he actually can keep that up.
I don't know if Ghost here also digging at me, but like when I said basketball was an international sport, I mostly meant that it's played internationally. That's why, I sort of
Yeah,
said that in contrast to baseball or basically in contrast to baseball or American
actually quite
football, because
popular. Yeah, it's quite
they're
popular in parts of
only they're
Asia.
only popular. Yeah.
In Asia, it's very popular. And
Yeah, but like, the main areas
yes,
when baseball
it's in the
or
US. Yes,
American football are played is just the US, and that's what I meant, not necessarily the origin of the sport.
right.
Yeah, so 3-2 up so far. We have not really learned that much. As you said, the biggest shot on the court is Alcaraz's forehand, but we kind of knew that already.
Yeah, yeah. Both guys just kind of settling in. I think.
There's definitely like more when it comes to like the tactical depth, there's definitely more to what Rune will be trying to do, I think.
Yeah.
Alcaraz, yeah, just trying to
Well,
look for all of these forehand patterns that he likes, and basicly execute them. There's a slip from Rune, but it doesn't seem like it was that dangerous. He loses the
yeah.
point because of it, though. Well, maybe not
Yeah.
because of it, because he slipped after after the shot he missed.
Yeah. He's just kind of clutching at his knee a little bit, just gathering himself. Looks like he's okay though. So, 15.
Yeah, and I guess one of the big things about Rune this event so far is that despite that five setter against Davidovich Fokina and the really long match against Alcaraz connects with a forehand return and just sends it for a winner. But what I'm talking about is that Rune despite that five setter against Davidovich Fokina and also the long four setter against Dimitrov, he is still
Yeah,
holding up okay physically, which in the past, of course, wasn't really obvious for him. Maybe grass, maybe the fact that it's less physical is helping him.
for sure. Yes, I think that has a lot to do with it actually. The grass being.
But yeah, but there's also like this question in my mind, like if Rune is forced to play Alcaraz, Medvedev, and Djokovic in a row, would he hold up again?
I don't think
That's a
so.
that
I
was
don't
a
think he's
second
ready for that.
serve, right? That was a
Yes,
second serve, right?
huge
Yeah,
second serve right into the body. 119 on the second.
119 and into the body
Yeah,
on the second serve. Yeah, so lots of
huge
risk
house
taken
there.
there from Rune on the love 30 point, but it pays off. It pays off.
Yeah, and he was doing that a lot during the indoor season. Actually,
Absolutely. Yeah.
it was a huge weapon. Oops.
Ooh.
This time, Alcaraz not losing his footing as much on the backhands. Didn't go to the slice, but yeah, a little bit wild on that forehand.
Yeah. Great serve from Rune, but he didn't actually convert that advantage in any way because of the slightly mishit first forehand, but eventually he wins the point. So
Okay, so Medvedev held from love 30, and now Eubanks would serve for a 2-1 lead.
that's really quite unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you were talking about like the fact that after his matches he can also do the analysis, but I remember that quote from him that said that actually working as an analyst has really improved his game as well, because right now
Yeah,
he's like, during his matches he's asking himself the same questions he was while watching tennis matches, and he said that he is like basically more just able to recognize patterns of play better and find out what to do from how the
yes.
match is going. So
That
that's
was really
that's
interesting
really
because he
interesting.
also said that, if he gets broken or he loses his serve, in the past it would have, it would have deflated him a little bit, or
Mm-hmm.
he would have been kind of thinking, okay, there goes that set. But now, because ever since he's been working in commentary, he's actually starting to like process that information in real time and actually adjust mid match and like think, okay, no, like actually I can get the break back, and I'm a server, and servers means that they consolidate the break and they close out matches sets. Like if you think about it, it's what he's saying is like very obvious, but the way he says it, it's like you can really see that like just being doing the scouting for different opponents, like because he basically in the clay season when he was doing this was after his Miami run, and he was already commentating on Medvedev, Zverev, on matches in Monte Carlo and all throughout, basically because he
Yeah,
didn't play the clay season. He still went to South Korea
South
and played
Korea.
some challenges there, and then basically just chose to opt out and just basically only played the French Open, where by the way he played Rune and he played him very well. Actually, it was quite a tight match.
It was a good
And
match,
so
yeah. Surprisingly, a good match. So maybe there were actually signs of it. That South Korean swing, like when you look at it right now, back then I remember
yeah,
on the Challenger podcast I was talking about it with Jakub, who is also featuring on the Talking Tennis channel, of course. Sometimes I think he did like one of the last board drops recently or something, but like I remember he asked me, do you think that the stretch in South Korea for Eubanks has been good? And I was like, quarterfinal, semifinal, quarterfinal, losing to quality players, Vukic twice, Thompson once. That's great, right? But when you're looking at it right now, you're like, how is
yeah,
this guy, in a Wimbledon semi almost, and Miami quarterfinal, but he was losing to Vukic twice. But yeah, that's I guess how tennis can be so wild.
yeah, exactly.
My favorite example of this, and like how weird tennis is and that in I think it was in 2019 when Kraviec Mies won their first Roland Garros, and Andreas Mies in a single month played the Grand Slam final, played the Challenger final, and played the 15K final in Troisdorf, and actually lost that final. I think Kraviec was along with
That's
him
quite a
in the
while.
challengers, but Mies played the 15K by himself with some other German guy. So basically, in a month, he made a final at every single possible level.
Wow. Yeah, that's kind of wild. Yeah. The other thing also he said is that last year when he qualified for the U.S. Open and he
Hmm.
won a match and then he played Sinner, he started to take his routines a bit more seriously. Like in the past, if he finished really late, he maybe wouldn't stretch. He maybe wouldn't um, do his recovery. Like he might compromise a little bit and just be like, I'm
Hmm.
tired. I'll do it tomorrow. Like it's those little things like getting his protein in before the match, or cooling off, like warming up, like just those little things that don't get talked about that much. He put a lot more emphasis on doing that before and after the match, and it actually made a really big difference because he realized that it might not pay off right away, but if I keep doing this for 6-7 months in a row, let's see how far I can actually go. And basically, like, he started to leave no stone unturned. Even when he was working at Tennis Channel for the commentary, he was still training like full time, and he was always in great shape. And I think that's helped because actually you'd look at his career. I mean, that's the really amazing thing is it's not like he's had injuries or anything. Like he's 6'7",
No, no.
and you would think, okay, yeah, with this kind of height and stature, like and just the way he plays, it's also can be like physical. Maybe he can be more prone to injuries, and it didn't really like happen. He was just struggling like for many 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 years. Like he was just in that 120 to 170 range in the rankings, and then just all just clicked for him at the end of last year. Those challengers that he played against Ben Shelton, those matches like
Yeah.
in the indoor swing, like post US Open. I think that started to really give him belief. Like I think we were both expecting that he would make the top 100, but top 30 is a whole nother thing. Like now he's going to be seeded for the US Open. Now he's going to be playing Atlanta probably, and like he might very well be the favorite to win Atlanta. Like and like he might even play like just
Isn't
like
he in the
being
qualies in
seeded.
Atlanta though?
Oh
I
yeah,
think he's
that
in the qualies in Atlanta,
yeah.
but
Okay, yeah.
which,
No, I
which
mean
is
I was
kind of
just
wild.
mentioning Atlanta because he's from there,
No,
and
no,
like
I
like
understand.
this
I
whole.
understand.
That's where he
Yeah, and
actually had his first big breakthrough. I think it was 2017. He made the quarters in Atlanta,
he played
and
for University of Georgia, right? So I think he got a wild
yes,
card
so I
there.
think he got a
Yeah.
wild card because of the university, like you said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's basically
So
sometimes someone from University of Georgia, sometimes someone
yeah,
from Georgia Tech. Yeah,
and of course, like he's very good friends with like Naomi Osaka, Coco Gauff, people
yeah.
like just
Coco was in the. Is Coco today at
yeah,
the
yeah.
Medvedev
She's
match?
she's she's, she's at the Medvedev match. She just
I
watched his
remember her from the
six
Tsitsipas one,
seven.
but like I haven't been looking at the stream as much. But definitely he is like now serve and volleying a lot more than he was in the opening set. So That's something that has helped him too. And Jake is also talking about it in
Yeah,
chat.
Jake is spot on with this analysis right here, because he is really like exposing that deep return position, and he's
Sometimes when players do that to Medvedev and they're like serve and volleying on every single serve out wide, you're kind of stuck thinking like, why isn't everyone doing that?
right.
And
for Medvedev, he can actually move up like he did in Miami. He did adjust actually in the Miami match, and he moved up his return position, and he really surprised Eubanks with it. And he was able to get so many more returns right at Eubanks' shoelaces when he went for the serve and volley.
yeah,
And he was able to actually keep it very low. But the difference is Medvedev so far, he still feels like he can, like it's not natural for him. He doesn't want to do that. He would only do that if he's feeling fairly confident and he's in a good rhythm. And so far, I feel like this tournament, like he's played well, but like not like amazing, like he hasn't, like I know that he beat Manarino and he beat Fuchsovic, but
he basically had a couple of
he hasn't
really
really
tough
convinced me.
opponents, and like
He hasn't really convinced me that his game is offensive enough right now to win Wimbledon. That makes sense. Like,
I mean, makes sense, but
aside
like
from the serve,
if he is in the semis and he's gonna play the couple of opponents that he will play, I don't know if it needs to be, but of course, just getting there is it's so far the biggest issue.
I mean, this is by far the biggest server he's faced. That's the other thing. Like Manarino and Fucsovic as well.
Fucsovic, I guess Fucsovic would be the second biggest one. Who was his opponent in the first round? I cannot remember right now. It was something easy.
It was like Ferry or something, right? Like Arthur Ferry, or it was like
Arthur Ferry. Yeah, Arthur Ferry.
Yeah.
Yes. Arthur Ferry is like 1 meter 75 centimeters high. So tall.
I'm just saying, like none of them had this kind of a serve like Eubanks has right now.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, Fucsovic is probably the second biggest server he's faced, and of course, that's not like the main aspect of his game. And it's a decent serve, but like it's not anything special.
Okay, but he held at love to start off the fourth, and meanwhile, Rune has a game point in the 8th game to hold for 4-all.
Yeah, sometimes I'm just when I'm looking at a player doing this to Medvedev, it kind of seems like it's just a flawless game plan, Of course, we've seen him produce some insane returns. Just he's out of the court and he finds that huge bomb down the line, but it's just such a low margin shot that it's not going to work out every single time. So yeah, when Alcaraz especially was doing that in Indian Wells, every single wide serve was just a successful serve and volley attempt, and it's for all.
And same with Djokovic in Paris in 2021.
Yeah,
he did that as well.
At Tsitsipas last year in Cincy, right?
Yep, in Cincy, and at the ATP finals. Oh, yeah. This is what's really impressive is though, like when he's connecting on returns, he's not actually like going for outright winners on them, but he's just hitting it really, really hard down the middle. That's how he got the second break.
Yeah.
Just completely like blasted those returns right at Medvedev's feet, and Medvedev is basically having to scramble and pick up a really low ball from his backhand, and then Eubanks can just attack on the next forehand and then come forward and knock off easy volley, because Medvedev is so far behind the baseline.
Yeah. And Medvedev, I think, like when someone is serving volleying against him, I guess the main tactic is just to hit the ball as hard, thanks to that return position, as possible, just to make that volley pretty tough. But like if the serve is like sliced out wide, it's hard to get this sort of a clean hit on it. And yeah, like Alcaraz, I think at Indian Wells, if you looked at it, I haven't actually checked the stats or anything, but he was probably winning like 90% of the serve and volley points.
Yeah, and right now they should just show net points won. How many times do you think Eubanks has come to the net so far?
3 sets already, right? So in the first set it was probably a bit lower than later, so probably like 10. I'm gonna say 40.
Yeah, you're fairly close. It was 46, and he's won 28 of those points, and Medvedev is 4 for 8. So kind of what you would expect, but still pretty good.
It's a great pickup from Alcaraz there, serve and volleying, and this very easily could have gone love 40, but we are now 15-30, of course. Still in trouble though.
this is one area where I feel like Alcaraz is just leaps and bounds ahead of everyone in his generation. It's those improvisational type shots, those
Yeah.
pickups and half volleys. It's I mean, it's even like Federer, it took him years to master those things. And the fact that Alcaraz is doing this so early is
So when would you say he mastered those things then?
well, basically when he started winning majors. But
Okay.
like
Yeah.
you
Okay.
know, I mean, like
Because
in 2003, he was doing a good job already. It's not like
okay. Yeah. That's why I would asked, because I was thinking like if you're gonna say it's like 2008, 9, I'm gonna say
no,
no. But
no,
yeah,
no, not at all.
2003, okay. 2004, I'm fine with it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I
absolutely.
definitely think 2003 Wimbledon, we saw a lot of that from
That's
Federer.
when the hot shots started flowing in. Although they were also there
Yeah.
before. I think in his very first match at the Slam against Pat Rafter, he already hit like a. I'm not really sure how to call it. You know, he was trying to chase down the lob and hit an overhead with his back to the net
Mm,
or something like that. So yeah, basically from the get go, he was hitting a lot of these. But yeah, when he started winning majors, is a response I can agree with.
right.
And looks like another threat has been resolved by Alcaraz, although he still has to win that point, and it's a second serve. So Rune will try to attack it, and he fails at that, netting the forehand. 5-4 Alcaraz. Still, it feels like we haven't learned that much.
Yeah.
Alcaraz was, had to save the only breakpoint in the first game of the match, but it also wasn't like. Well, it's not like they are winning these games easily, but anytime someone falls into like small trouble, like low 30, they very quickly clean it up. Actually, we've had a low 30 in this match on 3 occasions already, and all of these didn't even go to a deuce. It was all won 230 by the serving player. So that's quite interesting as well.
Meanwhile, Eubanks saving his second break point of the game with an ace down the tee. This would be a big game, huge game. If Medvedev broke here, all of a sudden it's very likely we're going to a fifth set. I mean, just look at this, like 1 hour and 50 minutes of play, and they're already like, almost midway through the fourth set. Well, I mean, if Medvedev breaks. But just the pace of that match versus the match that we're commentating on.
Apparently, Rune was also complaining about about the grass being slippery. I don't know if you're watching with sound. I'm not.
Yes, I do see the umpires actually. The grounds people have come out on the court. What's going on? Oh, okay, yeah, just having a conversation in the corner.
Yeah,
I
but
have
they're
noticed
about
both
to
players
start.
have been struggling a little bit with their footing so far,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes when it's indoors, like the moisture from the
Yeah,
grass.
there was that day when they couldn't play on one of the show courts, right? Because the apparently the air conditioning was not allowing the grass to dry out or something like that. So
It's actually not just Rune. I hear Alcaraz is also chatting with his box about the movement
okay.
and making some gestures that would indicate that it's a little harder to change directions. We'll see if that becomes more of an issue. I don't expect that to be a problem as the match goes on and the grass just wears down, especially as we get towards the end of this event.
There's that chance for Alcaraz. He gets into the position that he likes with the forehand, but he actually misses
Yeah.
it quite
It's
a
happening
while
a lot
along.
for. It's very similar right now for both players, where they're they're getting the openings, but they're not like hitting the
Yeah,
finishing shot right now. So we're just kind of in a wait and see position.
this should be a cleanup though from Rune, but is it?
He goes for the
It's
tweener.
not.
A little bit of showboating, but he does a good
Oh,
job with it actually.
he lands the tweener and Alcaraz nets the forehand. So
Yeah.
should have been a point for Rune probably on the very first shot, but he ends up having to play a tweener for it. But eventually,
Yeah.
Alcaraz with another forehand miss. Definitely hasn't been like the cleanest for Alcaraz forehand day so far.
No.
Which maybe today, maybe it's not gonna matter. We'll see. But I think this is the sort of tennis he would have to avoid against Djokovic in the final potentially if he would have to win. Like if he would have any intention of winning. Of course he would have, but
Yes.
Any shot maybe at winning is. We need more showboating, as says Ghosty. With these two players, we will probably get some.
But
They tend
I
to
love it
go.
when we get showboating packaged with, consistent patterns of winning points. Like that for me is like the thing. Like that's why for me, like Alcaraz and Rune, they can do both. So that's
Yeah.
always the perfect mix.
And showboating is only fun when it actually works.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just end up looking really, really stupid.
Right. I mean, that's the same thing for the Fokina underarm serve at 8-all. Like, what if he makes that
Yeah.
and then like it's and then all of a sudden he's a genius, right? So it's
Yeah,
like hindsight
absolutely.
is 2020. Like, we can criticize him for that in the moment, but
Calvin
knowing that he would have,
Emery last week, I think, won a match with an underarm serve. I can't remember what
yeah.
the situation in the match was, but it was tweeted as like a funny moment, and of course, everyone is like, "Wow, smart." And with
Right.
Davidovich
And,
Fokina is
and
like
and
completely
they
the
were
other
saying
way
the same
around.
thing about Davidovich Fokina when in that match against Casper Ruud, 6-5 in the fifth set
Yeah,
down break point. I think it was the third round in 2021, and then he comes up with an underarm serve and he wins the point. So and then he wins the
yeah.
match. Like,
And suddenly we are a deuce. I mean, this has
yeah,
come out of nowhere. This has come out of the blue with Rune having
Alcaraz is moving a
free
little bit
game
better in that
points.
point, a little bit lighter feet and just forced
Oh,
Rune to play the
the
extra
roof
ball.
is open actually. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't even realize up until now.
Okay, he makes the return, but Rune hits behind him. That's a very smart play. Good save. Huh.
Tried to get there, really tried to. But
Yeah.
not enough, of course. But yeah, great stuff from Rune. If he was hitting that cross court, surely he would have had to hit at least 2 more shots in this point. But
Yeah.
this way, he just finishes it instantly.
If this was Clay, Alcaraz would literally slide into that forehand.
Probably yes.
But that, yeah, I mean that's why like Djokovic kind of does that, where he's like he basically moves the same way no matter what the surface. Oh,
And it is going to be 5-all after all.
yeah.
There was another great shot when chasing down the lob, but Rune is there, patient and aware with the volley.
Yeah.
Seemed to me like Alcaraz maybe even slipped there or something after that, but I'm not sure. Maybe on the replay we're
Yeah.
gonna see it.
Yeah, just a little bit, but he
Yeah,
just caught
he
himself.
did slip, and it basically, even though the Rune volley was really long, well, not long in terms of being out, but just deep. It didn't really matter because he kind of slipped.
Right now, we're basically at a dead tie right now.
Yeah. Ghosty says that real men always lean towards showboating. Recently, I actually did that, and I did something crazy on a tennis court. There was a ball that bounced just on my side of the net, and I, instead of doing anything, I just, like normal, I just decided to hit a frontal tweener. It was the first time in my life that I hit a frontal tweener. It actually worked out. I don't think I got a clean hit on it, but because I was so close to the net, like it didn't really matter. But yeah, just the whole
Yeah,
idea
but
was crazy.
yeah, sometimes you're just in that mood where you just want to,
Yeah,
play around a little bit. But
and because
actually,
it
I mean,
worked out, I was like, oh, look at me. But if it didn't, I would just hide my head in shame. So there's a really
yeah.
thin line between these two.
Oh wow! And so far, right now, Luna has the edge on the cat
Yeah,
and mouse points. With another Alcaraz trying to go for the redraw, but Luna was so quick to get there,
yeah, the redrop just not good enough at all. And
uh,
now we
and
have
and
another love
actually,
30.
I was quite surprised Alcaraz went 132 on a second serve, and then double faulted to start the game.
Yeah.
So now he finds himself in a bit of trouble.
For the fourth time in this set, we have a love 30 on one of the players' serves. So far, all of these ended in the very same way. The player in
Yeah.
question winning 4 serve points in a row, but maybe this time it's going to be something different, especially as Alcaraz misses that first serve.
Hmm.
Ooh, that's a bad
No.
bounce, but he handled it though
Yeah.
and wins the point.
Yes.
But
We'll
again,
see if Alcaraz loses this game. I don't know if he might have some regrets about that really big second serve. We'll see. If you hold, then it doesn't really matter.
yeah, and it was at the it was the very first point of the game, I guess. So
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Yeah, a lot of errors at love 30 for either player. Okay, but he gets the big forehand there, and Medvedev almost about to smash his racket on the grass, but avoids it. As Eubanks has a big
yeah,
game point.
the Mira Andreeva situation taught him something.
Right.
I saw a lot of complaining about this.
The thing is the first one. There's absolutely no one should be complaining about that because she literally chucked her racket the first time. That was
mhm.
after the second set tiebreak.
Yeah,
So that's obviously a warning.
yeah, but
The second one,
even that one later,
um,
you know,
the second one, I know that there was
mhm.
some debate about whether like it was like if she hadn't slipped, like would she have done it the same way? But I guess the umpire was like, no, I think that's damaging to the grass. And
It's Wimbledon, right? I mean, the
yeah,
rules are always stricter, so I think
yes,
people just kind of forget about that. But yeah,
yeah,
the timing of it, of course,
yeah. I think
just
it
made
was
it
that
into
like
a
because
big
it obviously
debate.
wouldn't have had an effect on the outcome of the match, but just the way that it ended, it was like
Yeah.
left a sour taste in some people's mouth. But Alcaraz once again escapes
Yeah.
from a love 30.
Exactly the same pattern. And I think it's actually Alcaraz twice and Sinner twice, going down low 30 and winning the next 4 points. So 6
Okay, yeah.
5, and we still haven't learned that much. 52 minutes. So this definitely isn't
Yeah,
as fast paced as Medvedev
interesting that this
Eubanks.
set is a dead tie, and we also have a dead tie in the Sinner Alcaraz rivalry 3-3 in their head to head, and then this one is 1-1, but we haven't really got a proper match yet. So I think
Retirement and the funky
yeah,
format of,
which should never
um,
count.
yeah.
Should never count in their head to head. Medvedev actually been the better player actually in the fourth set. He's been getting some more looks on the Eubanks serve and kind of more of a regression to the mean, but he still has to get that break. Otherwise, right now Eubanks is still in command. But Medvedev does hit an ace down the tee to hold at 15. It's so crazy. Like Eubanks now just has such a big platform. I remember before. I remember when he was playing his Mallorca semifinals. I had
Hmm.
more Twitter followers than him.
Really?
Yeah, by about 10 or something. I think I was at like
Okay.
8,400 something, and he was at barely 8,400. I was like, that is insane. This Eubanks is in the finals of an ATP 250. How do I have more followers than him? And then I think now it's like he's obviously doubled the amount. But
Yeah, he's doubled his followers basically.
yeah,
Um, to a lesser extent, but I remember like a few months ago when Dominic Streaker won that challenger in what was it, Rovereto, maybe at the end of February.
yeah,
And he liked my tweet, and I was like, "Oh, Dominic Stricker has a Twitter account. I didn't even know." And then I see like 450 followers, and I'm like, "What? This guy
yeah,
is so talented. Everyone thinks of him as like maybe not a prodigy anymore, but like still like a future top 50 player at least.
yeah.
Like, how is this possible?" But I
And
guess he's not that active. Eubanks, I'm more surprised though because he was
he
pretty
does
active on
tweet
Twitter
quite a
always,
bit.
right?
Yeah, he does tweet
Yeah,
quite a bit, and he retweets, and he's yeah, just
exactly.
I think the other one that surprised me was like Vondrusova. I think she only has like 2,400. And
I've
I was
never
like,
seen a
that is
tweet from
crazy.
her though, so maybe she's just not using it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she actually has two tweets. So
Okay. That makes sense. Never mind. Yeah.
and they're basically her hotshots from from a couple of events. I think
Okay.
that might be Rome 2020, and that's probably Eastbourne 2019. So yeah, that's why Vodroshova has just
Okay, but we have
2,000
an opening
followers.
here. So 15:30. Let's see if this actually means something this time. Oh, Alcaraz hit a very good return, and he had the forehand that he wanted, but again, just goes for a little bit too much there.
Yeah, lots of these positions where he gets himself into that down middle of the court forehand,
But it's
runs
exactly the
around the
same for both
backhand, and
guys. Unforced errors,
yeah,
12 and 12, and it's and I think as far as I remember, they each have one double fault or something. So most of them
interestingly,
have been.
just 4 forehand unforced errors from Alcaraz and 8 from Rune.
Yeah, that seems right because I've seen a lot more backhand errors actually from Alcaraz too. Okay, yeah. Another good return. Oh, this time he goes big on the approach and he hits a drop ball. But is Rune going to get there? Yeah, Rune gets there. He reads it.
Yeah, saved by the bell there because like the forehand that he hit there on the +1 shot, it was so weak. It just wasn't
Yeah.
timed right. It was just weak, short, and it gave Alcaraz this huge lead. And I don't even think that volley was like anything wrong, right?
Yeah.
Just really good anticipation and speed, of course, as well from
Yeah.
Rune. So 1 point away from the tiebreak.
Yes. Just wide. 127 out wide though. 3-all in the fourth for Medvedev Eubanks. All right, they're in a backhand to backhand rally. Oh, and Rune goes inside in, but pretty central. But Alcaraz decides to go for the big shot cross court. Misses it wide. Yeah, so we're at the deserving conclusion of this first set, which is a tiebreak. It would have
Yeah.
felt wrong for this set to end any other way.
True that. And in the meantime, we also had the mixed doubles final set up, which I think could be the first Wimbledon final this year. That's been said, right? That would seem right.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be Joran Vliegen and Eubanks against Mate Pavic and Ludmila Kichenok. Yeah, Mate Pavic probably winning another Wimbledon title there.
Yeah.
But he was eliminated in the doubles yesterday, which was quite a big surprise.
First point of the tiebreak. Alcaraz going for the backhand down the line. Okay. Didn't go for too much there. Gave himself a good amount of margin. The first point is always key because if Rune takes that first point, he has a mini break. Medvedev is holding serve very easily right now in this fourth set. Actually, Eubanks is the one having to work a little harder.
Did that return go in?
I'm not sure if he's challenging the serve or he's challenging the.
I think he's challenging the return.
Okay.
I think the serve was clearly in, right?
Yeah,
But,
it is the return. You're right.
Yeah.
It was just out. Okay.
Oh, very close. But yeah, can't blame him for trying because it really seemed like it could have gone in.
Might as well because you do get an extra one also in tiebreak.
Yeah, of course. Today actually against Jabber, that was the second. That was the set point in the second set. Rybakina still had a challenge, and of course she just lost the set. And that ball was really close. I was actually surprised she didn't even try. Right, but like even if you see it on the set point, like what's the
You should always try it.
Yeah, you should always try because why not? I mean, maybe you didn't actually see it clearly.
Oh, Alcaraz goes for the lob and then he goes for the drop shot on the next ball. Rune gets there. Oh, did he make that? Yes, he
Yeah,
did.
I'm pretty sure he did. Like that lob was so smart. He didn't. I don't think he really changed his grip or anything. Like
finally, we've got
Rune was
ourselves
expecting. Yeah,
a hot shot type highlight reel point, right?
Rune was just expecting something completely different from that lob, and then it's that sliced lob.
And then the
Perhaps the drop shot could have been a bit better.
Very good speed from Rune to get there, and that was not a bad forehand dink down the line.
No, not at all.
Yeah, that was just too good by Alcaraz.
The drop shot was like the worst of the three that Alcaraz hit, and he almost paid the price for it. But the lob and the pass were good enough to make up for it.
This is where, like, I've said this before on Twitter, but like his speed is a cheat code because he can get away with not so good drop shots.
Yeah,
where it's Actually, Alcaraz is doing a good job of kind of backing Rune up in that backhand corner,
Ooh.
but it didn't work out that time.
Yeah, Rune left a lot of open space on that backhand line, but Alcaraz cannot convert it, cannot capitalize. So 2-all. Yeah, this match has been super tight so far. Obviously, it's not just the scoreboard that says so.
Yeah. 6-all, 2-all, second serve. Something has to give here. Oh, and a very good second serve again. This second serve to the body has always come to the rescue, and Rune is somehow trying to take it on the backhand.
Yeah, that's
Um,
also a few times we've seen this already in the set, right? Rune stepping
yeah,
around his forehand to try to hit the backhand return, and maybe this could be actually like a tactic from Alcaraz, knowing that
yeah.
Rune is probably going to attempt something
And he's
like
getting
this, and
jammed, and
yeah,
it's
just going really deep on his second serve down the middle. That would make a lot of sense. If one of the patterns that like Ferrero and Alcaraz discussed was Rune stepping around his forehand to hit a backhand return like this,
oh,
inside
but
out
this
or
time
inside
Rune
in.
has the answer on the first serve,
Yep.
and Alcaraz. The switch ends at 3-all again. We're just there's not barely anything to choose between these two. Eubanks actually, this is Eubanks' 10th unforced error of this set. Medvedev has made 0. But still,
Yeah, but
still
also
struggling.
when you're
Yeah,
Medvedev in this matchup, I mean, how are you hitting unforced errors, right?
yeah, double, but double faults. 2-6. Okay, yeah, but
Eubanks is not like a straight up serve and volleyer, but against players like this, most of your errors are going to be forced.
right.
Maybe Eubanks doesn't serve and volley every single time, but like against serve and volleyers, especially the unforced errors and winners
Oh,
stats are always so
that was
skewed.
a bad error by Medvedev because he actually got into the rally, but just forced the issue too much on the
So
forehand.
that's the first unforced error, I suppose.
Yes, and meanwhile Rune with a gift because he double
Yeah,
faults.
with an unforced error of his own, and that's like the most unforced error because the opponent cannot influence it in
Yeah.
any way when it's
But let's see.
double
So
fault.
Alcaraz is up a mini break for the second time now in the tiebreak, and he'll still have to consolidate. If Rune can win one of these points,
Yeah,
then it
we're
will
still
be.
tied then.
All right, let's see if Alcaraz will go down the tee on the serve. Nope. He goes to the old faithful. I guess why not? You might as well test the backhand return.
And it did leak. Well, leak maybe is a
Yeah.
stretch given that it was a first serve, but it was not a first serve that I guess Rune would have been afraid of. So
Yeah.
it was definitely a makeable return. So
Okay. 5-3. Alcaraz serving. Oh, he's gonna challenge that, but I think that was wide.
yeah, definitely. It's not even close.
Yeah.
In these scenarios, though, I usually don't like the fact that the players are challenging just because you break your rhythm.
Yeah, I think that's what
Serving.
he's trying to do actually here because it just buys himself a little bit more time to
Yeah, but like
get
you
set up for
want
the
to
second serve.
still you want to hit your first serve and then you want to hit your second serve, right?
Oh, that is a huge forehand. Absolutely mammoth.
Yeah.
Somehow Luna got his racket on it, but my goodness, he just exploded on that forehand.
Probably one of the best ones he's hit this set. There was that one
Yeah,
winner
huge
that
moment.
had lots more spin on it and landed on the line, but I think this was probably the best forehand of Alcaraz this whole
Yeah,
set, and
pretty good stuff. This
he
is
gets
why
rewarded.
Alcaraz is number one right now, right here.
I know some people would disagree because they would say that he shouldn't be number one,
Okay,
and
okay, fine. You get it. Whatever. Top
there is
two.
some merit to it. There is some merit to it. I'm gonna
Yes,
say that.
yes. Okay, fine. Behind Djokovic. Like I perfectly understand if you're gonna put Djokovic ahead. Okay, yeah, that reaction just kind of says it all.
He finds the situational return
Yeah.
7-3.
Well,
Kind of.
those
I
last
mean,
four
yeah.
points were clutch. I mean, but I no, actually the last three because
There
the
was
first one
there
was a
was a
gift.
decent
It was a double
serve,
fault.
right?
Yeah,
So
but
yeah, it was basically just the last 2 points, I suppose. But
yeah,
yeah, such a tight set. Holger is of course going to be disappointed that he lost it, but there's still
yeah,
lots to look forward to in the rest of
I
the
think
match for
so.
him.
Yeah,
It's not like he was blown off the court
No.
No one really expected that, I think. But yeah, let's see how he reacts to this as well mentally, going forward. And Medvedev 5-4
But
up on
honestly, we didn't
Eubanks.
have any breaks, and if you were to tell me that before the match, I would
Yeah,
have said at least they would switch breaks once. So that's been a credit to them that they've actually gotten out of those service
yeah,
games.
it is fairly unusual for an Alcaraz Rune set to go 12 holds in a row. But I guess that also comes from the fact that there were plenty of games that were won to Ferry, but
Yeah,
just basically none. Well, just three of them went to deuce, and in all of these occasions, it was just one deuce. But still, like if you're just looking at service points won, it's 69% Alcaraz and 64% Rune. So they actually lost a lot of points on serve. It's just that they didn't
yeah,
like combine into a break.
yeah, and just that one break point from either guy, and that was in the first game with that 132 mile per hour wide serve. Okay, I mean, yeah, Medvedev has not come to net in this fourth set, but then again, he's only come to the net 8 times total.
I don't know who this tweet is about that I just saw on my timeline, but it's all in caps. Serve to the backhand, you muppet. So yeah.
I don't know who. Wait, who is the username? Then maybe I can tell you.
Yeah, I mean the guy is probably watching. Actually, I don't know who the guy is watching. I know the user quite well, but he could be
I
watching
actually
both
don't.
matches.
My Twitter for some weird reason like is not working right now, so I can't actually see any
Yeah.
of my tweets on my profile, which is kind
Yeah,
of
that
strange.
it's the same for me. It's not your error. I had a lot of issues trying to send out a couple of tweets about
Right.
Jabber and Berketa
Yes,
an hour
I had
ago.
that. I had that some of
Yeah.
my drafts on Javor, and I just couldn't get them sent because
I actually
of
didn't
getting an
even
error.
like I didn't manage to do it on my phone. I had to go upstairs and send the tweets that I had to my computer, and then it
Yeah.
worked, but I also couldn't see it on my timeline. So yeah, it was quite tough to do.
Okay, where are we at? We're at 5-all, and yeah, I mean, we're at the first game of the second set here. I wonder if anything interesting happened on the changeover. No venting or anything. Nope. Oh,
Doubt it. It all went pretty quickly. I think so. So probably
yeah.
not much. I guess after this game, maybe I'll go to pour myself some water. But I will be back, in like 30 seconds. But probably after this game, since I still want to see like what the reaction is to the lost set from Rune, right?
Yeah.
Vamos, says Terry in the chat. So clearly an Alcaraz fan right there.
Yeah, Ghosty saying the tiebreak would benefit. Yeah, I mean, that's what history says right now.
That a tiebreak would do what? Benefit Alcaraz as the winning
Eubanks.
player? Ah, okay. I was thinking about Alcaraz Rune. That's why. Okay, never mind.
Alcaraz smiling and laughing quite a lot in this game,
Um,
even after these mistakes. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
Eubanks
nice.
Medvedev is probably not that clear. Who has a better record in the tiebreaks? Of course, Eubanks has won 9 of them in a row, but
Yeah.
over a longer sample size, Medvedev is going to be winning more of them. But that's because he's like the better player or something. So yeah, it's hard to.
Yes. This reminds me of the Cressy match that he played when Medvedev in Australia, except that Eubanks is just more clinical when it really matters, and he's a little bit better from the baseline than Cressy, and he's getting more returns in play, and of course the grass is making Medvedev less able to finish points and than on a hard court where he's just more comfortable moving. But this is still close. It could still switch the other direction. Oh, I guess there's some challenge in this match.
Some interaction between the two guys, and it is out. So
Yeah.
they're gonna be changing sides now. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. I will probably head out in the next changeover, guys, because I have to go get some breakfast. It's still kind of early in the morning here, and I haven't basically gotten ready. But I don't want to leave right now because we've had we have an interesting conclusion to this set coming up with Eubanks and Medvedev. And Medvedev has actually been the better player so far this set, but we'll see if that actually translates. These next 5 minutes are going to be really key. Yeah, I just saw a tweet from Gil Gross saying that there was so much anxiety in that first set between Alcaraz and Rune, and hopefully now we'll see the best from both guys. And I kind of agree. I don't think we saw anything close to the best.
Yeah, not close to their best, but were they as anxious as Alcaraz was in the Roland Garros semi? Probably not. But
No, not that. But that's just a completely different dynamic, obviously.
yeah, obviously, yeah. These guys know that they're going to be playing each other a lot over the course of the next, I don't know, 10, 15 years. So not sure like where they see Sinner in this dynamic, which would be a very interesting question for both of them, but they wouldn't really tell you the truth. They would just tell you, that of course he's going to be up there, even if they didn't think so. So yeah, I would be kind of interested to know if they think of Sinner as like a worthy rival for the both of them. I guess Alcaraz would, given their head-to-head. Wonder about Rune though, whether he thinks of Sinner as like the same level as him and Alcaraz, because I'm pretty sure he thinks of himself as the same level as Carlos.
I think he pretty much just thinks he's the guy. He has that kind of mentality.
He's the guy, but at the same time, do you think that he thinks of Carlos like that that he has less talent than him? I doubt it. Like, I don't know. I think some things are just too obvious, even if you have a very even if like you're very egocentrical and self-assured. But yeah, wonder where they see Sinner in this dynamic.
He's like very prideful, I would say, Rune.
Yeah. 7-3 Ghosty. It was 3-all. It was all even until 3-all, and then Alcaraz with the next 4 points.
Yeah, I mean, my feed has actually switched over to Eubanks and Medvedev, and right now I think that's where our attention should be for this fourth set tiebreak.
Why not? Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I would do them both at the same time, but my ESPN feed is the same as my ESPN2 now. So.
No, I mean, I'm still on both. So. But I guess following more closely the Rune and Alcaraz one. But I do have both.
What's the score in that one? Is it they both hold yet?
Yeah, 1-all. Rune just about to serve.
So Medvedev starting out this tiebreak, and he gets the first point on return serve. 126 down the tee. Let's see what Medvedev does with his return position now in this tiebreak, if he makes even a slight change.
Apparently, Rune had won the last 8 tiebreaks in Grand Slams.
Okay, yeah, that sounds right. But that is insane that Eubanks was 0-7 before Mallorca in tiebreaks. 0-7. Can you believe that?
This year or?
Yeah. Yes, this year.
But is it main tour, or it's probably just main tour, right?
I think just main tour, but even
so
then,
it's a ridiculously it's not a meaningful stat, I guess. Yeah. So it doesn't really make much sense, I guess. In Gwangju he went 1-1. In Busan he went
right. In challengers he definitely won. I saw he won more tiebreaks.
No, and he actually won a tiebreak against Benoit Paire in Geneva. So that's clearly wrong.
Medvedev steps up a little bit on the second. Did you see that? He actually moved in a little bit on the second serve return.
And in Stuttgart as well, he won 2 tiebreaks against Albot. In Halle, he won 1 tiebreak against Gaston. So yeah, this is just BS. Absolutely.
That return was very good from Medvedev, because
even in major matches,
to basically go for a winner on his backhand, and Eubanks missed it. So now he has the mini break.
Yeah, it's just easy to one Rune in the other match.
Okay. Yeah, a couple of backhand errors here from Medvedev, but Medvedev doing a really good job of keeping the backhand very low and getting it into that cross-court pattern, which is obviously you would favor only one guy in that situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh, but yeah, I mean the enforced errors are really racking up for Eubanks. 14 in this set. One for Medvedev. 3-1. Second serve. Chip return down the tee. Pretty good return. Nice neutralizing from Medvedev. Although Eubanks very aggressive on that forehand inside out. And again, it's a slice that
He
really
gets the
set up
mini
the
break.
forehand
Yeah.
there. Yeah. He has a very good feel and tempo right now for these tie breaks. He just, especially when he's down in these breakers, he's really going after the ball. I noticed that against Christopher O'Connell as well. He was down in one of the tie breaks and he just kept swinging very freely. I don't think this is actually like hit him yet that he's about to get to the semis of a major. Or if it is, he's doing a really good job of hiding it. Oh, he goes big on the inside in. And Eubanks is going to try to come to the net. Very well done. So now the switch ends at 3-all. That's just very, very good job moving the Russian around the court and getting the short ball and just pouncing on it and coming forward. And he was a little hesitant actually coming forward on that inside out forehand, but he decided to make the move. And Medvedev actually wasn't going to get that ball back in play anyway. So
This is just really unbelievable, like composure as well from Eubanks.
yeah, just the clarity and the confidence and
Yeah.
composure in this situation. Like I mean, you're playing a guy who has way more experience than you at this level.
And Ben Shelton also giving him some love on his Twitter. With I mean Banks is on another planet right now.
Yeah, he is. Oh my
Of course,
goodness.
they're really good friends. And after Ben beat him in Charlottesville and Knoxville last year, Eubanks
Yeah.
also tweeted a few times about how good Ben was.
Oh, but a very good return from Medvedev yeah.
Yeah.
And this time he goes aggressive on the forehand, which is smart. I do actually think Medvedev will win this set because I just think he's been the better player. But we shall see because as much as Eubanks has been a bit off from the baseline this set, he's also hit many forehand winners, way more than Medvedev. I think it's 21-9 in that stat. Okay, but second serve here. Yeah, slice return. Another good slice. Another good slice, stays pretty low.
Still some great tennis from Eubanks. I mean, he eventually misses that forehand, but
That's the thing is these are good errors
yeah.
though. Like it's not.
Yeah, like if this went in, this would have been a very troubling shot
Yeah,
for
and
Daniel.
honestly, like he has to go for that because
Yeah, he's not
otherwise
going
he'll
to be
just be
running
taking
around
no.
corner to corner. Yeah, true.
And that's the thing is he's kind of
Free,
recognized his strengths and he's just playing to them.
free
And
set points, Medvedev.
it's going to be on his racket whether or not he misses or he converts. At least he'll leave this match knowing that I played the right way tactically. So
I'm waiting for the headlines. Tennis Channel analyst Christopher Eubanks goes into Wimbledon semis.
oh,
So
dude,
he
I
wins
mean,
this
I'm
match.
waiting for the headlines like outside of the tennis world because like now this is getting a lot of traction like in your CNN and NBC and in your
Yeah,
like NPR, which is like a radio station,
yeah, I know.
and you're just. I mean, it's obviously like more superficial analysis, but still like he's getting that name recognition, which is like Sports Center, like who makes Sports Center?
Oh, that's a terrible
So
volley though on that.
yeah,
Another attempt of like going, serve and volley out wide.
it was a bad miss, but the Eubanks just kind of shrugging it off. Medvedev still looks a bit relieved, and now he's gonna head over for a change, and Eubanks will at least serve to start the fifth. So
yeah.
he'll continue to build that scoreboard pressure if he keeps holding.
And back in
But,
Alcaraz Rune, there's actually a deuce on the Carlos serve at 2-1. I'm not
okay.
sure if there was a break point. I guess I can quickly check that.
Yeah, I can see on Flash Score.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing too. And no, there was no breakpoint.
Yeah.
Breakpoint TM, the Netflix show. Rune just misses that backhand down the line, so it's gonna be game point Alcaraz. So since the opening game of the match, we still haven't had any breakpoints, right?
Yeah, correct.
And that one was
Uh,
saved by a
it looks like I'm a point
huge
behind
serve.
from the score board shown on our screen, but that's okay. I'll watch the add-in point, and it's just an unreturned serve. Which Alcaraz has got quite a lot of unreturned serves in this match, and that's because Rune is choosing to be offensive on the return, which I don't hate, but at some point I feel like he's got to at least get himself to a break point to feel like, okay, I have a foothold in this match and I can start to even things out a bit more.
Yeah, perhaps especially right now that the guy is currently well, he is the one who will be putting scoreboard pressure on Alcaraz in this set. So there might
Yeah.
come a game at like 3-4, 4-5, 5-6, where a couple of maybe points where you just allow Alcaraz to possibly make an error will be required.
Hmm.
But of course, the first plan is first to hold.
Yes. What's Runa's record this year against top 10? I feel like he might have actually lost more than he's won. I know he's won maybe 4 matches.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning, like until Monte Carlo, he basically wasn't winning
Well, he lost
more
twice
than
to
he won.
Rublev. He lost
Yeah, he also beat
lost
Sinner.
to
Was
Medvedev.
Sinner already in the top 10 at Monte Carlo? He probably was, right?
Yeah, he was. He was.
So there he also beat Medvedev. In the
Yeah.
long run, it's probably gonna be good, but that's mostly the clay season, I think.
Well, yeah. I mean, he beat Rude. He beat
Yeah.
Medvedev. He beat Sinner. He beat Djokovic. So that's
Well,
four.
actually, right now it's 4-5. It
4 and 5.
seems. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
So
Yes. That
since the
that
start of
checks
the
out.
clay season, that would be like 4-3.
Wow.
But
I mean,
of course,
four
he
and five,
lost
but
to.
really, it could be 6-3. Of course, those matches against Rublev.
Yeah, the matches against Rublev, both of them for sure.
Yeah. Oh, but looks like Medvedev has a love 30 in this first game. Runa holds for 3-2, so keep an eye out on that. But this first game in the fifth here is Medvedev has a bit of an opening.
Shelton Eubanks TFO sitting around the table and chatting. I saw some clips from that. I didn't see the whole thing.
Yeah, I didn't see the whole
Um,
video, but I know
but yeah,
what they're talking about.
yeah, Eubanks was like saying that he wants to be deep at Wimbledon and top
Mm.
20,
Yeah, and he
which
was making the point about how Wimbledon is, people just talk about it more than the other majors, and
yeah, the point which I think we both kind of agreed with already on this
yeah,
stream. That's in the US. Maybe it's like Wimbledon and the US, but the other parts of the world, Wimbledon is probably the most
yeah. But
prestigious
right
one.
now, his Wimbledon's fairy tale run is in jeopardy because it's love 40 and a second serve.
Yeah. He still should be seeded. Like even if he loses today, he still should be seeded for the
Double
US
fault
Open, which
on break
is
point.
incredible. Oh,
So he'll have to
really?
come. Yeah, he'll have to come from a breakdown if he wants to win this.
In that Tsitsipas fifth set, he was up a break twice, right?
Yeah,
He didn't come from a breakdown, yeah.
correct. He did save a couple of break points in the last game, which I thought was very clutch.
Oh yeah,
Um,
absolutely. There was like a huge inside in forehand, I think, in one of them or something.
yeah,
Um,
but Medvedev has made some adjustments. He's moved up in his return position, especially on the second serves, and Eubanks has been missing more of his first serves lately. So he's allowing Medvedev to. I mean, in some ways, he might also be feeling it a little bit. I think physically, like how can you not at this point? Because what is that, like 9 matches in a row plus another five
yeah,
setter here.
sure. Mallorca was, of course, just the week before Wimbledon. So
Yeah,
on the men's side, especially, most of the time we don't really see these players succeeding. There's been instances in recent years, Djokovic won Belgrade and then Roland Garros, Team won Lyon and then Roland Garros. But yeah, it just feels like most of the time on the women's side, the winners
Crazy.
of the previous weeks
I
go
mean,
deep, and the men
just
don't.
the fact that Medvedev was so close to losing this match is crazy because he's winning most of the stats, like 45 winners and 7 unforced, whereas Eubanks is like 68 and 44. That's
Also,
just mad.
in that Tsitsipas match, I think Eubanks lost like 15 more points than he won, or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Of course, because the first and the third set were one-sided for Steph.
yeah. Here,
So
Eubanks
in
actually
matches like that,
won one of the sets 6-1, right?
yeah.
So here it's probably more more in Eubanks's favor, actually. The total points won, I would assume, at least.
Assuming
But
Medvedev holds all the way and wins this match, I think this will be big for his confidence, just knowing that he won another five-setter. Because his record in five-setters for a top player is, actually kind of poor. He's 3-9 overall.
no, here actually Medvedev also has more points won despite the Eubanks 6-1 set in the second set.
Yeah, but like,
But
I'm
what?
pretty sure
Mhm.
he's leading all the stats except for like aces and winners. Let me
Yeah,
double
yeah, yeah.
check. Actually, that would check out. But still, he almost lost. He's almost losing because Eubanks is in a way kind of figured out the best of five set format very well right now. Let's actually check stats. Yeah, I mean, more total points won, like plus, what is this ratio? Plus 37? Plus 37 to plus 24 in the winners and unforced.
Yeah. So far, the second set of Alcaraz Rune hasn't been too eventful, frankly. Alcaraz with a very quick hold at 2-3, and now Rune with a huge serve on the line. He actually even apologizes to Alcaraz, I
What's your
guess,
score
for
right
how
now
it
in that? Is it
slipped.
is it 40 love for Runa?
It is 40 love. He just won that point for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I have the same. Actually, when was the last time Medvedev even won a five setter? It probably was against Felix in the Australian Open last year when he was 2 sets to love and match point down.
Um. Yeah, the French, he didn't really have one, right?
Yeah, and obviously
At
final he
at
lost to
Wimbledon, he
Rafa.
didn't play.
Yeah,
At the US
U.S.
Open.
Open he didn't have any, and then Roland Garros this year he lost to Wilch in the first round, so that was a five setter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think before most of his losses were actually at Wimbledon in 5 sets because he lost to Manarino in five in 2018. He lost to Hurkacz in 2021,
Bemmelmans.
and Bemmelmans in
Ruben
2017. Yeah,
Bemmelmans. Let's
no, and
remember
and he
Ruben
beat
Bemmelmans.
he beat Stan right in the first round. But this
He
was
beat
actually when I
Stan,
could
yeah.
you could kind of see like Stan was struggling with his knee, and that's like after he lost this
Yeah, it
match,
was
that's
it
when he
was like
stopped.
the upset that I think everyone was expecting in a
Yeah,
way, but still, of course, it was a pretty huge match, and that was like the first moment when I thought this guy was going to be excellent on grass. That
yeah,
season as a whole, because there was also a great match with Dimitrov at Queens, which I
yeah.
think he lost in three, which was
Yeah, and
honestly I
then
think one of
he
the
scored. He
highest
made the
quality
semis. I
matches that
remember.
season.
I remember he beat some good player in Queens. I don't remember now, but he lost to Djokovic in the semis. Eastbourne. Yeah, that's when I also thought he was going to be good on grass. Even in 2019, he made the Queens semifinal, and he beat he lost to Simon.
Yeah, as always.
Yeah, he always loses to Simon. Uh, yeah, I honestly thought in that tournament he was going to get to the quarters and play Djokovic. I really wanted that match to happen because I knew no offense, if Goffin got there, I knew he would not really test Djokovic that much. And I just
2019
yeah,
or
and I
yeah.
just wanted to see Medvedev and Djokovic again in a major after they played in the Australian Open,
And
where
how did
obviously
the 2019 Djokovic Goffin quarterfinal look?
it was basically like what you would expect, like very tight for the first 4 or 5 games, and I think Goffin had a break point to go up 5-4, and then after that it was just done.
Okay.
Like once he lost
No,
the game, he
never
just
mind. No, never mind. I know it's just, off topic, but I was just thinking about something.
yeah, Alcaraz
Yeah,
goes to knockout.
okay. So that was the 6-4-6 of. Okay, never mind. Never mind. But yeah, the Goffin Medvedev five setter was definitely quite huge, and I was fully expecting Medvedev to win it.
Yeah, Yep. So I mean, this would be his first. Well, actually, he did beat Cilic in 2021 also from 2 sets to love down.
Yeah, sets to love down, but it
So
was like Cilic was goating for 2 sets and then he
yeah.
wasn't. So didn't never really felt like Medvedev made any adjustments. Well, maybe any is a bit too much, but oh wow, that's a fantastic pickup from Alcaraz and
But he wins
doesn't
anyways.
win the point. But
Yeah, but who
uh,
cares? It's 40 love.
yeah, that half volley pickup was insane though. But
Okay, I think honestly, I think Medvedev is racing through this fifth set. Eubanks is.
seems like it. But still, I mean, from Chris Eubanks, yeah, 3-love up right now, Medvedev. But
The good
uh,
news for Medvedev is this will be like one of the shortest 5-setter he's probably ever played in his life. I mean, literally, it's going to be about 2.5 hour match.
yeah, 3 hours.
I mean, that
And
reminds me of Dustin Brown versus Kyrgios in 2016 at Wimbledon. I think it was 2 hours and 15 minutes for a 5-setter. They both just play so quick between points.
when it comes to 5-setters and the time, yeah, basically the Bemelmans Medvedev 5-setter was 2 hours 50. So
2 hour 250.
very,
Okay,
very
yeah,
likely that they're gonna eclipse that. Tennis
yeah.
Abstract does not have the time for Save of Wild against Medvedev, but I'm pretty sure it was like three
Oh no, that
hours
was longer.
30.
That was
Yeah,
yeah,
3 hours 40 or something like that. So,
yeah.
and of course, the longest one is Nadal, Nadal against Nadal, and the second longest one is also against Nadal. So
I'm guessing US both the finals that he lost.
yeah, 3-9 in 5-setters, only beating Filip Krajinovic, Marin Cilic, and Felix Auger-Aliassime. We already mentioned Cilic and Auger-Aliassime,
Yeah.
but I don't think I was
It's
getting
still,
that
it is
really
still
correct
very brutal that Medvedev lost both those matches. Like it is still that
against
is
Nadal. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that is quite something. I mean, just
I mean,
imagine
one is
he had
truly
won
brutal, but
but imagine if he had won 2019 US Open and he'd lost 2022, then it would be like they'd each have
he would
one
have
where
been
they should have won.
finer with it,
Yeah,
and maybe his career would have been completely different.
yeah.
Who knows? But like 2019, of course, it was fine. He was 2 sets to love down and never really led, I think, in the decider. But the
No,
2022
no,
brutal
he had two
was
break points in the
well, like
first
never
leg last
led,
game.
but yeah, okay. I mean, maybe,
But
yeah,
yeah, he never got the break. He never like
yeah.
led by a break.
Which,
And
of course,
Tiger
in the
was actually
2022
actually
final, yeah, that was just the
yeah.
most brutal loss ever,
I'm still very
considering the
curious to know what
final.
the win predictor was after Medvedev hit that backhand. Because I know that they showed it before the game or like before
Yeah,
the it might have been after the first 2 sets they showed the win predictor. It was like 4%. But dude, like at that 2-3 left 40 point, it would have been like 1.2% maybe. Like I'm just making that
and
up,
it would
but
have been right because people
yes,
often say that, like, win predictor is BS. I mean, I don't really know what it is for. I
yeah.
agree with that, but like if they showed that Nadal has 4% chance of winning the match, the fact that it actually happened doesn't mean that it was more likely than that. It actually was
No, like
this
I would have
likely.
believed it if they said 1.4. Like that seems like because it was
Yeah,
like the most improbable comeback you could possibly have imagined.
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, also he hadn't come back from 2 sets to love down in 15 years. I mean, the last time he did it was against Eugenie in 2007. So like you would think like because he's such a big fighter and he's known for that he would have had
Yeah.
more comebacks like that. But
At the
you
same
know
time,
he,
he rarely goes down
he
two
rarely
sets to
goes
love,
down
I
to 2 sets.
suppose,
Yeah,
unless
right.
it's like Wimbledon or Australian Open. And at Roland
Yeah,
Garros, he just never really had the opportunity to, or if he
right.
had the opportunity to, he just was so
And then
far worse.
and then of course there was that call in the 2017 match against Muller. Oh,
Yeah,
Rune makes an absolute mess of that overhead.
yeah. Rune
Uh,
messes up an overhead, which has been
and
a prevalent
that
theme of
he
his
knows
year.
that he should have let that bounce and then adjusted around it, and he would have been just fine. But he took it in the air,
Yeah, it would
and
have
that
been
could be
fine,
very
but
costly.
also it would give more time to Alcaraz. So I guess there are two
True,
sides to this
and also it
story, I
was very
think.
windy. It was also windy, so
It
that
is windy,
affected his.
yes. It is. It is,
That
yes.
definitely
Maybe the
affected his
sun
split.
as well.
That definitely affected his split step before the overhead too, and
I
then
think
now
the
he just.
sun was in his eyes as well.
Okay, yeah. My commentator was just mentioning the sun also.
Yeah.
Uh, Okay, but this would be big if Alcaraz got this. He'll basically serve for 2 sets to the lead.
There's a
And
big
then the
serve
second
down the
serve.
tee, but he misses it. So
Does Eubanks have a break point for get one of the breaks back?
I
Okay.
think he has. Yeah. Oh
Oh,
wow,
and
and
he
that's a
makes it.
fantastic back in return from Alcaraz. He steps into
Wow.
it, he finds the line just barely,
Yeah.
but he finds it, and
But he finds it, and he will now serve for 2 sets to the lead.
obviously an amazing return from Carlos. But like Rune will be dreading that smash,
Yeah.
right? That's the moment where it really went wrong for him,
Correct.
and yeah, out of nowhere because all of the holds until well, basically until for all here, all of the holds were if they weren't clean, it was like love 30, and then they were getting
Yeah.
out of trouble so easily, especially Rune. And
What I like about
suddenly,
this Wimbledon so far is that all the best players like are in the final rounds, where it's like
um,
they actually like have adjusted to the grass in a way that like they at least got through their matches. Like if Djokovic wins this tournament, you can't be like, oh, he had an easy draw because like look at his run. Like
I
Thompson,
mean,
Babrinka, like
Hurkacz
Hurkacz,
was
Rublev.
the only threat, I think, to him.
Yeah, but then like
uh,
let's say he beats Sinner and he beats he beats Alcaraz or Medvedev in the final. Like you can't really say
yeah,
that's
that final makes it like a worthwhile, I think, affair.
yeah.
I think
I mean,
that
and it's
final
still
makes
it's
it
still what
something
three top
different
ten
because like
players.
who else would you want to play? Yeah, but Sinner and Rublev, no. I mean,
Sure. I
I
mean, but
cannot
Sinner,
really
like
treat them
to me,
as
Sinner is a
threats.
more to me. I think Sinner is just a more dynamic and athletic version of Rublev. Like I
Yeah,
think essentially it's the same play style, but just Sinner is just a little better at everything.
yeah,
So
but like it's still one-dimensional linear power, which Djokovic is
yeah,
probably like the
but I do
best
think like
equipped
for example, I do
to
think Sinner
handle.
is a little better than he was last year, and I'm not
Um,
so sure yet about Djokovic. Like Sinner to me right now is his serve is a little bit bigger, and he's added some variety. Like I don't know if it'll pay off tomorrow. I don't know if he's done enough yet to where like he can like his transition game is good enough right now, but maybe by next year or something it will be. I don't know because I feel like his on the grass is where he might like actually like if he's gonna beat Novak. I don't know. Like he's not gonna do it on clay. I don't think he's gonna do it in Australia, for example. Uh,
I don't know. I
we'll
mean,
see. We'll see. Like honestly, he could lose in four tomorrow, and I could be saying like, oh, he actually, I could have an opinion that like he played better this year than he did last year because last year wasn't really close,
you
even though
could.
he went up 2 sets to love. Like, was it really a close match? Like, it never really was.
Yeah,
So,
every set three, set four, set five, Djokovic was getting the
Ghosti is
first
saying Rublev won Monte
the
Carlo.
first
Yeah, I
break, right?
know, but I just think Sinner has the higher upside. Um,
But
Rublev didn't win Monte
Sinner,
Carlo.
they didn't play in Monte Carlo, right?
No, I know, but I think
Yeah.
he's saying that. Yeah, he's saying that Rublev has the Masters 1000, but Sinner doesn't.
Uh,
But I think
no,
that's
no,
yeah,
Ghosty, you're not serious. I mean, I know you might be. We've talked about it a few times already,
yeah.
but like, it doesn't really change anything. I think for Rublev, winning that
Also, they've played each other
18,000,
three
like
times, and I mean, Sinner has won all their matches like pretty
it changes a
comfortably.
lot for him as a person, as a player, you know. But it's not like he's going to be threatening for slams from now on. He
By the
still
way,
has
triple
that,
set
that
point for Carlos.
yeah. He still has that
Goes
like
for
almost I would say even a talent gap against most players in the well like quarterfinal stages or something. You know, he still has a
yeah.
bit of a talent gap when he runs into another Top Gun or
And look, I mean, he played well
a high
yesterday. He did,
upside player.
he
He
did.
played
But the
very
fact
well.
is, like he played amazing tennis. But
Yeah,
look, it still didn't get him anywhere close to winning the match
it's an awful
because
matchup. It's really
yeah.
an awful matchup, and I think it's similarly
And I
awful
think
for Sinner
the difference
actually.
between him and Sinner is Sinner knows he's not a good volleyer right now, but he's trying. He's gonna come forward. He's gonna try to force the issue. I don't think Rublev has that in his like. Rublev is who he is at this point.
He
Like
hasn't tried. Yeah, he hasn't
yeah,
really tried.
like he's basically been the same player for 4 years, with the exception of he has improved his backhand a little bit. I will give him that, and his second serve is a little bit better than it used to be. Like he's not spinning it in at maybe 75 or 80. Like he is hitting it a little bit. Maybe it's 5 to 7 miles per hour more, but still, like it's it's predictable against the best players.
Yeah. And that
once you
it
kind of
doesn't
find,
seem like there's any attempt to change it. Any power based liner basically should be working on his
and
transition
which
game
is fine. I mean,
and volley.
he'll have a David Ferrer like career where he'll win 20 plus titles.
Yeah,
He
he'll
may
be in
get
the
to a
top
major
10
final.
for. He'll be in the top 10 for
He
years.
will probably make a major semi. I don't think he'll retire without one. He might even win another Masters. Like he's gonna have an amazing career, but it just won't be, his
Yeah.
ceiling just won't be as high as these other players.
And it's kind of unclear whether there is actually something to be done about it, or maybe that's just who he is. That's just what his capabilities are. But yeah, I definitely think he's gonna like stay at the same very high floor that he has right now.
Yeah,
But
like I mean, look at his year-end ranking, like 858. And
yeah,
I think the 5 was a little bit too high because that year you also had Nadal injured, you had team basically gone. Uh, like there were just some chances, but like 2021, actually the year where he finished 5, I don't think that was a good year really. Like he underperformed in the majors and he only had one title, which was Rotterdam. But he just was in the top 5 because, well, like I don't know, the rest of the field was a little bit unclear in terms of strength.
oh, but he did make a few finals other than Rotterdam, right?
Oh, he did make the two
Um,
Masters 1000 finals. Yeah, you're right
yeah,
about that
so like
because
at
he beat
least
Medvedev and he
that's
beat Rafa in Monte Carlo.
that's well over
You
a
have that.
thousand
Yeah,
points,
yeah.
and
So
also
he did like points wise, I think he was better, but
he had some a pretty long stretch at the end of the year where he wasn't playing that well, but
yeah, yeah. I
most of
think
the time he was at his most
post
consistent
Cincinnati till
best.
the end of the year, he was like,
Yeah.
yeah, he was like 0.500, but
But anyway, also Jake is asking how is Alcaraz Rune been? Had the other quarterfinal on. Honestly, well, I wouldn't say lots of nervy play, but like that they still haven't shown us that much. I would say Alcaraz
yeah,
is
I mean,
looking to
the first
like
literally it
mhm.
came down to a lot of love 30s for both players on return, but neither player was able to get to a break point except for Alcaraz in the first game where he saved one crucial break point at 30-40. And then obviously it came down to the wire 3-all in the tiebreak. Alcaraz takes it 7-3, but Rune hits a double fault at 3-all, which was, you know, gave Alcaraz the mini break. And then Rune misses the backhand return at 4-3. And then 5-3, they play this really good point, cat and mouse, which Alcaraz ends up winning. And then he just steals the set.
Yeah, and suddenly in the second set, like they're just trading very easy holds, and Holger misses an overhead at 4-all, 30-all, and
Yeah,
Alcaraz finds another huge backhand winner. So backhand return winner, just like on the set point in the opening set. So it's been super tight, as tight as nails, but just a
yeah.
couple of crucial moments that went Alcaraz's favor. And I don't know if you can really say that that Rune choked or anything. I don't think the 4-all, 30-all smash was really a choke. It was just him
Yeah, it
taking
was
a wrong
just kind of
decision,
a
a
miscalibration.
wrong
Like
decision,
his
a
swing was,
miscalibration, but I don't think it was really influenced by the score.
yeah, I don't think so. Like, I don't think he felt the pressure of the scoreboard when he missed it. It was just, yeah, like a judgment kind of a thing in the moment.
Ghosty is mentioning the worst losses of Yannick Sinner, at least the last two. But
In
uh,
fairness to Sinner, the outlier was like maybe his worst loss at a slam in a really long time. Like, I don't
yeah,
think any of his other losses were particularly bad before that.
I'm actually like a lot lower, if you can say that, lower on Sinner than most people. So I can't
Yeah,
believe that I'm actually defending him. But that's what happens sometimes. Even if you're lower on someone than most people, which I guess is mostly the fact that I don't treat him as equal to Rune and Alcaraz. That's really
yeah,
what it is about.
I don't really either.
Um,
I think if I were to rank the three right now, like whose career would you rather have? I would take Alcaraz and Rune over Sinner.
yeah,
I would
me too, 100%.
because I
But
want the
it could
Masters
be, it
title.
could change. Like it could change. It is
Yeah,
possible.
it could. And again, like we've talked about, Sinner against Alcaraz is not the same as Sinner against the field.
Yeah,
So, but that being said, he is still only 21. Like he's not going to be 22
exactly. So
until
that's why
August.
you kind of feel like this could change still.
And
Like
Darren Cahill
he
is not
could
just going to
improve.
waste time on someone who he didn't think had potential. Like he's not going to be
Yeah, but like
coaching Sinner for.
if he already is like at this level, he kind of has potential. It's obvious, right? So
Yeah,
he could be coaching someone like that.
so
I mean,
it is pretty
uh,
likely that he'll, at least fulfill more of it than he has so far.
yeah,
And I guess if Alcaraz didn't exist, then he'd be probably way more in caught up. That being said, he is very much Wimbledon really likes Yannick Sinner, that's for sure. He gets center stage a lot in the early rounds, especially. He was put on center court, and then also he has a Gucci deal now, which is interesting. He has a Gucci bag, and of course he has also a lot of other sponsors, and he's doing very well in terms of marketability. Let's put it that way. Although I really don't like that term, but in terms of Ghosty with the funny comments.
yeah. Lehechka will have a better career than Sinner. That's interesting. I wouldn't second that, but if it works out, I will remember you. But I
If he has a Burditch-like career, that's pretty good.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean he's actually
that's
coached by Burditch right now, so you
yeah.
do see some similarities in their games, for sure. Not just that they're from the same country, but just
Yeah, I mean, he was always called like the next Berdig in Czechia, but the main problem is that Berdig is like what 10 centimeters taller, and
oh
that's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. No, Zilahechka
basically
is what,
what he
6'2"?
cannot really do.
He's
Yeah,
6'2", and Burditch is 6'5". Yeah, I guess.
yeah, more or less 10 centimeters. Yeah, and I guess Lehechka is just so much more dynamic though, and goes to the net. It's not the same play style, but
Yeah,
the thing that people like were always looking at was of course the clean ground strokes, just the way they are able to find clean hit after
I
clean
like that
hit.
Lehechka is investing in his transition game, and he's really
Oh yeah,
improved that in the last 6
like
months.
the
And
whole 2022, I was literally screaming, why does Lehechka doesn't have a net game if he's just producing
he was always a good
such an
volleyer
attacking
even
game.
last year, but he just didn't.
I don't think so. Like I think he lacked a lot of experience at the net and like shot selection. I think he was a bit spotty at the net, and then he
Interesting,
comes
yeah.
back after the off season, and suddenly, yeah, the transition game is amazing. The volleys are amazing,
Maybe
and
the
that's
next gen
how he
finals give
improved
him
so
that.
much.
Maybe
It's
getting to
given
the
it's given
finals
him a
there,
lot of like
belief.
the
Yeah.
belief
But
for
to be
sure,
honest,
but
I watched him in
mhm,
Rotterdam also against Musetti and stuff, and he was not like
yeah.
bad up there. Like he actually won quite a lot of good points in the. And I
He was
remember
just
in the
wild.
third
Like
set
he
against
he could lose to anyone last
Apple.
year, and this
Yeah.
this year he's had stretches where maybe this comes back, but obviously such a strong season, and yeah, executing that attacking game so much better.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Eubanks is 2 points away from. So actually, this will not be Medvedev's quickest five setter because they're approaching 3 hours. So it will actually be less time than the.
Yeah, Bemelmans will still be the the longest. Sorry, the shortest. Which I mean, I just like to bring this up every time, but of course
Let's
it
just
was
say
such
the,
a
the shortest
different.
that Medvedev won. How about that?
Yeah, the shortest that Medvedev won. But I just like to bring up Ruben Bemelmans anytime this is a conversation. But of course, it was it was ages ago. I
Remember,
basically treat.
remember that shot that Federer hit against Bemmelmans in Rotterdam in what 2018?
Yeah, like also chasing down the lob, right, and overhead.
Yes.
Yeah, and then he chases down the volley from Bemelmans and hits it into him. Yeah. So Ruben Bemelmans was responsible for at least two very interesting moments in tennis history. No, of course I'm joking. A former top 100 player. He also worked with Eubanks for a while. I'm not sure if that's still
Okay.
going on, but after his retirement, he worked with
What year
Zizou
did
for
he
a while.
retire? Was it like
Last year, I think.
Okay, yeah, I remember it was fairly recent.
2021, I think he still won a challenger in Cherbourg. I think it was like a vintage final between him and Drossel, and I think he retired last year.
Yeah. Huh. The days
Yeah,
of
Böhmelmann's
Wimbledon.
also 2021, and then last year he only played like a handful. Well, a handful, went 8-15, and he actually played Zizou breaks in what was supposed to be his last match, which was funny because he was supposed to coach him just after he retired, and then he also played Antwerp at the end of the year. But yeah, so 2022 Antwerp was his last match. He actually came back for a doubles match earlier this year, but I don't think it was like a full-on comeback.
Yeah, I think Medvedev is going to win this match now, and he does so.
Yeah.
And in vintage Medvedev style, he does not really celebrate, but he's pretty relieved to get through this. And really nice handshake at the net, exchanging some good words. I'm very curious to listen to both press conferences after this, just because they're both very intelligent people.
Oh yeah.
And very interesting to listen to. And what an amazing run for Eubanks. And now he's going to be 31 in the world and will be seeded for the US Open, very likely.
Yeah, I think it's like 99% basically. He's not defending any points, so it would require just the guys below him to have some amazing results, which, yeah, probably going to be seeded. Very, very, very likely.
Yeah. Well,
And playing
he's
Atlanta qualies soon, which is going to be fun.
Yeah, he might not play Atlanta qualies. I don't know. He doesn't get a wild card into Atlanta?
No, the wildcards are already announced.
I mean, I guess they gave one to John Isner because.
Yeah, I will tell you who that is actually. I think Isner is still in on his own ranking. I'm not sure. Oh no, he actually isn't. Sorry. And so it's Isner, Monfils, and Andres Martin, the Georgia Tech college player who beat Kokinakis last year and actually won a round. Oh, but that's okay. Rune wins that point. I was getting back to the stream and I thought maybe he lost it, but it's fairly all.
Rublev and Pegula 13 quarterfinals between them. Sabalenka and it's actually 14 for Rublev and Pegula. Pegula is 0-6 now. Rublev is 0-8. Sabalenka has a very good record in quarterfinals of slams. She has she ever even lost a quarterfinal? I don't believe so.
At
She's
the
made
slams? No, she didn't.
No,
At the
she
slams,
hasn't.
no, she didn't.
She's
No.
made 6 semifinals. So, and her record is 1-4 in semis right now. But we'll see. Her against Jabeur will be interesting. I actually think, imagine if Svitolina and Jabeur play each other in the final. They will each have beaten 4 major champions en route. That is amazing. Because, of course, Jabeur beat Andreescu in the 3rd round, and then Kvitova in the 4th. And then today against Rybakina, and then if she beats Sabalenka, that's 4 just to get to the final. And then for Svitolina, yeah, I mean Venus Williams and Kenin and Azarenka, and then obviously Swiatek. And of course, tomorrow she'll play a slam finalist, Marketa Vondrousova. I'm really actually very happy for Vondrousova that she gets this moment, because if you recall in 2019, when she got to the French Open final, I mean, that was basically like the women were not given center stage in that semifinals. They were basically put
because it was the
like
rainy,
the rainy
Roland
one,
Garros,
and it was on court 1, and
of course
it was happening at the same time as Team and Novak.
Yeah, Fedor and Team Novak Team Novak. So
yeah, so and then
so Vondrousova played Konta or
yes, Vondrousova played Konta. I still remember that horrendous miss from Konta and set point in the 2nd set. She should have put that, I think, swing volley away on top of the net.
And then Ash would have to play Anisimova, I suppose. Then,
yes,
right?
and Anisimova was up 7-6-3. I mean, that French Open was just iconic, man. You look at that and you're like, holy crap.
Yeah, I love that tournament.
Anisimova almost won a major. Like that's wild. She was 7-6-3. She was 17 at the time. Imagine if she'd actually won that slam.
And the huge run from Swiatek as well, all the way to the 4th round.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone already looking at her as a sort of a future prospect. Osaka going pretty deep. I think that was the year when she was like, talking about her clay game improving.
Go that deep. She got to the 3rd round.
I mean, she got as deep as she could have at the French, I think.
She lost to Siniakova, I think.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
She got to a couple of other Roland Garros third rounds, but I just remember that she was talking about her clay game improving, and then you couldn't really see it, but she still produced like a very good win
Yeah.
rate, I think, that year on clay.
Yeah, that's true. No, she did do well in Stuttgart and Madrid.
Yeah.
She got to the quarters, and she just kept losing to Bencic that year, the same way that Federer kept losing to Team.
Federer kept losing to Team in 2019. That's interesting. I
Yeah,
never really thought of
three
that.
times,
Indian
three
Wells
times.
and
No, yeah, I think
Madrid.
Team was Federer's toughest opponent in 2019. I don't think that's
Indian Wells, Madrid, and what was the third one?
ATP Finals.
Oh, ATP
Round robin.
Finals. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was not thinking of that, but because he, well,
Yeah, I mean, I think Team
he
has a
still got
5-2
out of he still
head-to-head.
got out of groups, so like it
But
wasn't that
honestly, like
meaningful.
two
But
of those
yeah.
matches, like Federer was not fully fit for. So I don't know, like
Which
I
one?
think there was that one in the Rome match. Federer definitely wasn't fit for that.
That was Madrid. That was Madrid, though.
No, Rome 2016. I think.
Not this much. I thought you were talking about the 2019
Then
matches. No, 2016 he was definitely not fit for.
and then even Stuttgart, he was not fit that whole grass season. He had water in his knee and stuff.
Yeah. 2016, I guess he wasn't really fit for anything after the Australian Open, right?
That's true. Yeah.
That was when he had
Even
that
that Brisbane
injury.
final that he lost to Raonic, I think he was sick that whole week.
Yeah, he had a cold or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's amazing how much people get wrong about Federer in 2016. Like this is what everyone says. Oh, he fell against Raonic, and then he had knee surgery. But he had knee surgery in February.
Yeah,
he had knee surgery in
after
February
he had that injury, pouring
the
water
day
into the
after
bath, right, for the
semis.
kids or
The day after the
something
semis,
like that.
and then he came back very quickly. I think too early he came back, and then Miami he was supposed to play Del Potro. I remember that. And then and then they both pulled out. Actually, did they both pull out? No, Del Potro was there, but Federer
I'm
pulled
not
out.
sure. And then he returned in Monte Carlo.
Yes, and he lost to Tsonga there.
Tsonga beat Garcia Lopez. I remember that match, and Bautista Agut, I think, which he always beat.
But yeah, I mean,
Rune seems to be like I don't know, struggling physically right now, but he does seem to be walking like, I don't know, some sort of like there's no pep in his step, let's say that. He had some issues in the 1-0 game, and now at 2-0 he's also like breathing a bit more heavily, taking a few more seconds here.
As Taylor Swift says, we've seen this film before.
Yeah. I don't know when did Taylor Swift say it. I don't know if I know the reference, but
you know the song,
which one?
You know that one's like, I think I've seen this film before.
Oh, I don't think I do, but that's fair. I wish I knew that song. Then the reference would have been funnier. That's the thing with references, right?
Yeah.
You should know them.
It's the Exile, the song.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
I'm not like a huge Swiftie, but like I do like some of her music.
That's with that's with Bon Iver, right? I think so, yeah. I'm not a big fan either. Like I've listened to most of her records. Do I really like them? Probably not. But I like
some of them get stuck in my head. But I think, but like not all of them. Like some are.
I like to keep up with what's going on, but like I mostly listen to them as you would probably watch a match between John Isner and Riley Opelka. Like I'm
not watching that. I'm watching the tiebreaks. I'm there for the tiebreaks, man.
Okay, so maybe this analogy isn't perfect, but like I'm basically talking about a match that doesn't really interest me, but I kind of have to watch it. So so let's say it's a very boring Grand Slam final. Or the Grand Slam semi between, I don't know, Casper Ruud and Novak Djokovic at Roland Garros this year. So I'm mostly watching it because I have to rather than I actually want to. And Rune is definitely looking quite shaky and fragile right now. And Alcaraz gets a deep return at his feet.
Yeah, I mean, wow, this could be straight sets.
I mean, it's looking very likely to be straight sets. And after that opening game of the match, Rune has not produced a break point on any occasion.
Imagine we finished this. We finished play at 10:45. That's never happened this entire Wimbledon.
Yeah, but in the semis you kind of expect. I mean, sorry, from the quarters onwards,
even
you
yesterday,
kind of expect.
Right? Even yesterday, it finished at I think Djokovic Rublev finished at 12:30. Oh wait, I mean, what am I saying? 12:30 means nothing. 9:30 for you, but like.
Yeah, your time. Yeah.
Like, Yeah. Yeah.
I guess Ghosty is also in the States, but I don't think he is in your time zone.
Oh,
Not
okay.
sure
Yeah,
who else we're
he might
chatting
be.
with.
He might be East Coast. Honestly, sometimes I wish I stayed in the East Coast just because it is a lot better for most of the tennis year, like in terms of watching
You don't
matches.
think Nurlan that Medvedev is intelligent?
Medvedev,
That's kind of
I mean
surprising to
Medvedev.
me. I mean,
Medvedev is one of the most smartest players I've ever seen. So
yeah. Um, not really even talking about like what he does on the
yeah,
court, but yeah, I mean
just
the interviews,
generally
the
he's a very
conferences
smart
that
guy.
he gives, they are so
Yeah,
insightful. They are so deep, and even in
yeah,
his non-native language, he is able to convey so much. In French, he is also able to convey so much. So yeah, I think it's pretty fair to say that Medvedev is intelligent.
yeah.
Um, yeah, Eubanks should. Ghosty said that Eubanks should say thanks, y'all. This was a great warm up for Atlanta. Atlanta qualifying, which is
Uh,
wild. I don't know if he plays it, but in that Atlanta qualifying, of course, he would be the top seed. The next guy on the list is Corentin Moutet, 28 spots lower than Eubanks in the pre-Wimbledon rankings. So yeah.
mm,
I don't know. I mean, can they just take the wild card away from John Isner or Andres Martin or Gael Monfils?
mm.
That's gonna be
Guillermo
pretty
Ortiz right now
exciting.
is
I guess we've had like higher ranked players play qualifying this year with Dimitrov and Paul in Queens, but after winning, well, I guess after Wimbledon,
no. In
Eubanks will
hindsight, that
be
was a good decision by Dimitrov to play the
pretty
qualies
similar.
there.
Paul as well. I mean, he qualified.
Yeah.
He had he didn't have a good run, but like he got
Got
more
to the
match
third
time
round
ahead.
and then
Yeah,
he managed to squeak that fourth set out against. In a way, it kind of Paul kind of reminded me of his U.S. Open run, where like he got to the third round, but then he just like ran out of gas against Rude. They had a five setter.
yeah, but like in the long run, I guess the matches in Queens helped Tommy Paul. Do you think it
Yeah.
was like a straight up decision though?
No,
I
I think they
mean,
just forgot to enter.
yeah, they probably just forgot. Like I know people sometimes say that it can give you more match practice, but I think everyone is just so afraid of losing in these qualies.
Yeah, you don't want to have to qualify if you're 20 in the
And
world. Like that's not.
especially like pro tennis players, I mean, they have so much respect for other pro tennis players. I think a lot of
Yeah.
the time, a lot more than fans. So like they know that even when they play someone who's like, I don't know, 20 spots lower than them, it's not going to be an easy match, not necessarily at least. So,
Yeah. So Alcaraz is a
well, I
few
said
games
20 and
away
I meant more like 50 or 100, but you get the
from
point.
holding a major semifinal on all three surfaces, and he would be the youngest to do that since Djokovic. I must say 2007.
Wimbledon?
Yes, 2007. Yeah, 2007. He made
Yeah.
RG semis, Wimbledon semis, U.S. Open final. So how
Another
old was Djokovic
interesting
then? He
another
was
interesting
20.
thing about that, so Wimbledon 2007, is that Sinner yesterday became the youngest Wimbledon quarterfinalist since Djokovic, I think. And this
Yeah,
record is not exactly going to stand because either
yeah.
Alcaraz or
He will have
Rune
it.
will get it
He will have it
today.
for one day.
Yeah, Alcaraz or
And I
Rune will
loved how
get
in
it
his
today.
on-court interview, he basically realized that, and he's like, just very real about it.
Yeah. Rune definitely not looking that great physically anymore, and he
Yeah.
gets to that dropper from Alcaraz, but then gets past. Like Alcaraz just takes it slow. He knows he has the time, and
I guess
just puts
impressive
it
for
into the
Rune to
post.
win those matches against Cerundolo and ADF and whatever, but um, yeah, like back-to-back quarters is, I guess, a good result for him. But at the same time, like he is like running out of gas by the time he gets to the quarters.
Someone says that Eubanks is likely. Well, Eubanks is the okay. Never mind. Eubanks is the first alternate for the main draw. So now
Did
he
Rune actually
actually
miss that
is
spin
not
volley?
going to play the U.S. Open qualies. He is challenging it, but I think he did, and he kind of knows it from at least from.
No, he caught the line.
No, he actually cut the line.
Yeah.
Okay. maybe there's still some hope for Holger Rune in this one. But yeah, Eubanks will not be playing Atlanta qualies unless, something ridiculous happens, because he is first on the alternate major list. And also there are,
Yeah.
of course, the 2 special exempt spots. So it would basically require someone to go Bostad, Gstaad, Newport, like some 2 players to go ballistic who wouldn't be able to get into the major. So yeah, no, Eubanks will not be playing qualies after all.
Let's see. Oh, Norlan is asking if you play against each other tomorrow, who would win? Oh, very interesting.
Surely Vanch. I mean,
Mm,
he has
I don't
got a
know.
lot
I'm
more.
not that good anymore. I haven't
Yeah,
played in
but
a
like
while.
you still, at least from, for all I know, you still got a lot of like somewhat professional training, right? And
Yeah, I would say between the age
I
of
never had that, so
12 to 16, that was my physical prime right there. So,
yeah. So
and
I never
then I
had that.
injured
Like
my knee.
mhm.
Then I got tendonitis, and then I stopped playing for about 6 months. Then after that, I would still play, but just not as competitively. Like I would play for my high school, would play some club level tennis, would play some adult leagues, and so I would still get some matches in. But I actually don't think I've played a match in about like an official match that counts in my record for over 2 years now, which
Okay.
kind of makes sense because I was at university, and then I was just basically looking for just practicing and just staying in shape, basically.
Yeah, so
Now it's
clearly
more just
Vanch.
fun.
I mean, clearly.
No,
I'm
I don't know.
entirely self-taught, and I only played like
If we
some
played
very
indoors,
amateur
if we played like, which I think
things.
you play mostly indoors, right? In Poland?
Not really.
No,
Well,
you play
during the
outdoors.
winter, but then they're also the courts are also more expensive. So I actually play
Okay.
only during, like, almost like, well, let's say mostly during the summer, and then we usually play outdoors. Right now, I have this great hard court next to me that's actually open to all people, and like not many want to come there because it's like in the middle of a village. So I have like basically a free court next to me. So right now I'm playing a lot on the hard court, but
Nice.
lots of clay courts, of course, as well in Poland, and yeah, indoors as well, prevalent,
Mm.
but expensive. So but yeah, I'm definitely not beating much. No, no. It's a clay court merchant. No, actually, the thing that I play the best at is like carpet, fast indoor court, artificial grass as well. I haven't played on a real grass court. There is one like 100 kilometers from me, so I think I'm gonna try to get there over the this summer, and yeah, just play in order to check it out. But yeah, anything that's fast and low bouncing, that's what I'm best at. So clay is actually kind of rough
Wait, I
if
actually
someone is
just
just one
realized
bowling. Mm-hmm.
youngest versus Djokovic would not be accurate. I mean, youngest, like he would be the youngest ever, actually. Yeah, he was younger than
It's
Novak.
not the youngest since Djokovic. That's
No,
what I
it
saw on
is young.
Twitter
No, no,
recently. But
it is youngest since Djokovic, but is it the youngest ever of all time?
I
Because
mean,
I
you said young. I mean, what I read on
youngest since
Twitter.
Djokovic is right. Yeah, that no, no, that is accurate. But
So how
I'm
can it
also saying,
be?
but I'm
How
also
can it
saying
be
that
youngest ever if he's only youngest since Djokovic?
because he's younger than when Novak did it,
Oh, so that's okay.
like by a
That's not
month.
what I read recently, but no, he's not.
Because yeah,
How?
because 2007 U.S. Open is when Novak
Ah,
made
you
the
mean okay? So
final.
you mean
So
um
Alcaraz is at least a few days younger than Novak was then.
Alcaraz. Okay, I thought you were still talking about Sinner and Djokovic.
Oh, okay, no, no,
Wimbledon
no, no,
2007.
no, not
Ah,
that.
that's what you're talking
Okay,
about.
yeah, I
I
should
don't
have
know. I
clarified.
mean,
I should have
maybe
clarified.
there's
And
like
I meant Alcaraz.
a Boris Becker or something, or Mats Wilander maybe.
Yeah, I'm gonna
John
check right now. I
McEnroe.
think.
John McEnroe would be a fair guess as well. I think.
Mm,
I don't know about like
maybe.
Björn Borg because maybe he wouldn't do it on a hard court. I mean, he only played the
Yeah,
Australian
no,
Open
that's a good point.
once, but he did play
Let's
the
see.
US Open, of course, many
McEnroe, he was
times. But
born in 1959.
um,
Let's look
yeah,
at his
Borg
performance.
had it at the end of 1975. So yeah, Borg was definitely younger. He
Yeah,
was
that makes
19 when
sense.
he did it, and I'm pretty sure some of these other guys will also be a lot younger. Tennis was just different, I
I mean, I
suppose.
know Nadal didn't do it until 2008.
Yeah,
US
McEnroe
Open.
wouldn't be a right answer to this because
Yeah,
he
McEnroe was
didn't
not
do it
there.
until 81. But Mats Wilander did
No,
it at the end of
yeah,
83, so Wilander is also right. He would be even younger than Borg when he reached the quarterfinals on all three. Sorry, the semifinals on all.
definitely younger than Sampras.
No, semifinals, right? So maybe
Yes,
I'm actually.
semifinals of all three
What am I
on
actually
full
talking about?
surfaces.
Yeah.
So wait, let me see
Never
Borg.
mind.
Like,
These stats are kind of troubling right now when you're also trying to watch the match.
yeah,
But
yeah, I know. I have one
we've
screen
made
on
a bit
this.
of a mess from this out
Yeah,
of this. But no, so actually Borg would have been
let's
older
look at it
than
right
that.
now. Yeah, so
76.
1975. No, 76. You're right. Yeah, 76 U.S. Open. So he was what age at that point?
No, 76. I think that would be 76 Wimbledon is where when Borg did it, because he had a US Open semi in 1975.
Yeah,
But
okay.
yeah, Jesus.
76 Wimbledon, and let's see how old was he then.
Yes,
20.
Nurlan, you're right, but please don't watch that. It's like a full match, but please don't watch that. It was a few years ago,
I
and
guess he was older by like.
I
I
played
guess he was
terrible.
older by like a month.
I played terrible. Yeah, 1 month, I think. Yeah, I think you're right. So
But if
initially, I
he's the
was looking
youngest since
at
Borg, that is
quarterfinals,
fine.
not the semis, but
He's the youngest since Borg. Let's look at Wilander first. I guess Wilander is the only other one that
I think
can be
Wilander
right.
didn't make it because of that quarters thing. But I'm really not sure.
Does Wilander even count though? Because like 3 of them were on grass until 80.
Oh yeah, you're right. And then in Borg's case, when was the U.S. Open held on at 76? I don't think it was hardcourt either. Actually, in 75, sorry,
Oh,
because
that's right.
Jimmy Connors
It
won
was
the U.S.
on. It
Open
was on
on
the
three
green clay.
surfaces. Yeah,
It
exactly.
was on
Jimmy
green
Connors
clay.
won the U.S. Open on 3 surfaces. So
I think
um,
Djokovic has that record of. That's why I think they said of all time because, or in the Open era at least.
I mean, possibly.
So then he would be the
Anyway,
youngest ever. But he still has
5-3
to
in
give him
the
5 points.
5-3 in the Alcaraz fight in the Alcaraz Rune match. We have sort of spent the last 5 minutes talking about something that is related to this match, but also something that is not like directly what's happening on the court. Because the last few minutes have been kind of unexciting with Rune losing that break, and so far
Honestly,
not
this
really
match is
looking
not
like
that
he can
good. This
recover.
match is not one of the best matches of the tournament. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, it's not.
I was expecting like I don't know. Maybe I was just hoping for a 5-setter, but like
I was hoping for a 4-setter, or at least.
yeah.
And for a while at least, it seemed like that's what we should be getting. But then it was that random break that Rune dropped it for all.
Yeah, dude, I think he's the youngest ever to get to the whole 4. I think so. No. Sorry, not all 4,
Borg
but like
wasn't. No, but because Borg was on grass. Sorry, on
yeah,
green clay,
yeah.
right? The U.S. Open was on green clay. Unless you want to count green clay as a different surface to red clay, but that's a whole another debate.
No, dude, that's not. Okay, fine, you can argue it, but like
It's a debate, I think. It certainly does not play like red
I
clay at
mean
all. So
Wimbledon is green clay right now, so
yeah, that's another debate that you could actually
so that would be my counter.
find.
Wimbledon is green clay right now, so there you go.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Yes. And none of the surfaces are actually different anymore. Surface
No, they're not.
homogenization
Yeah,
killed tennis. Certainly.
yeah. I think you have highlights on YouTube. Do you have highlights of you playing tennis on YouTube? That's pretty sick.
Highlights is no, it's like a full match and it's terrible. So please don't watch it. I played like an event that had a streaming court, and I played an awful match in clay. I played this guy who like was moonballing quite a lot, and that day my forehand was not working at all, so it was just such a struggle. And unforced error after unforced error. I lost to this guy twice, and it was so frustrating because both occasions I was thinking I should be beating him, like, and both times I was also thinking if we played on a fast indoor court I would kill the guy, but no,
Mhm.
on clay not necessarily. I hope that if we met right now I would beat him, but that was a few years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, right now I have no clue, but yeah, it is a terrible match of mine for sure. Rune misses that first serve, so it's going to be a second.
Yeah, on 3 different surfaces, Alcaraz would be the youngest player in the Open era.
Fair.
Of all 4, no, not of all 4. He would still have to do Australia next year.
Kind of funny that he hasn't done it in Australia, but of course 2022.
Yeah,
He just didn't. Sorry, 2020. 2023. He just didn't play it.
yeah.
I keep mixing up
21
the
he
years,
lost
as I
to.
said. The most
Right now,
recent
Emer.
years are
Yeah,
blurred.
Emer is the only one. Michael Emer, the GOAT, the only one who's been undefeated against Alcaraz and played him more than once.
Nice. Winston Salem, right? And
Yeah, and Australia. But both,
Australia. Okay,
yeah, round 2.
2021.
Yeah.
When he beat, yeah,
Actually, kind of
makes
funny. He
sense.
beat Hurkacz in the previous round.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he
Hurkacz and
played.
Alcaraz in the first 2 rounds. That's crazy. And Imer is making a lot of these Grand Slam third rounds, right? He plays so much better in
Yes.
slams than he does in any other event, really.
Still, Fritz should not have lost that match that he did, but well. Yeah, he got to the 3rd round here also, Emer. Of course. Yeah, Emer has actually been kind of a nightmare for some top players. Of course, I know Eric
Yeah.
Johnson is a really big fan, so.
Yeah, Immer is definitely quite tricky to play if you're like not able to hit through him.
Yeah, you need
Someone like
variety.
Hurkacz, has struggled so much with him.
You need
Bit of a
variety
nightmare
and
matchup.
creativity to finish him off because.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I wanted to say that it's like Madison Brangle, but of course she's not that
Oh yeah,
fast. But
I don't hate
it's
that comp.
something
Yeah.
eerily similar, I would
I
say.
would hate that. I don't hate that comp because you end up making a million unforced errors every time you're playing
Yeah,
him. Because,
and unless you can play really smart, you're gonna be in trouble. Yeah.
yeah,
Or maybe if you can just power through the guy, because that also happens. But
yeah, you can. But yeah, he's kind of like the litmus test if you want to be a top 50 player. You got to beat him.
then Hubert Hurkacz should not be a top 50 player according to that test.
Well, I mean, he beat him, right?
I mean, he did, but he
Barely, but
had to save match
he was
points
very
in.
unconvincing. But yeah,
Yeah, he had to save match points in Marseille this year. He lost to him at the Australian Open, and was there another match between them? I think there was, and Hurkacz also won it. But like, yeah, it's just a very tough matchup for him.
yeah.
And let's see if Holger Rune can keep this interesting or not.
Mm,
So far, probably not, because Alcaraz just pumps on that +1 forehand, and Rune cannot find the backhand pass.
correct. So, like, who is the only player that Alcaraz has not? The only player that Alcaraz hasn't beaten yet in the top 20 is Rublev, and he's never played Rublev. So
Yeah.
they played once in an exhibition in December, but that obviously that doesn't count. And if he wins this match, that would put his win rate on the year 45-4.
Yeah, it's absurd.
Yeah.
Without a slam title, of course, which kind of
He didn't play Monte Carlo and he didn't play Australian Open. That is
yeah,
insane.
lost in
Yeah.
the second match in Rome.
Correct. Yeah, that was the only match where he lost that he didn't have any physical issues or cramps, whatever. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Norrie, Sinner, and Djokovic, of course.
yep. Yeah, that was, and he didn't even play bad against Marozhin. Like, that was just Marozhin having a really good day, executing really well. And there it is, triple match point for Alcaraz against Medvedev. They each dropped what? I mean, Medvedev dropped 3 sets. Alcaraz dropped 2. Still, his toughest match so far of this tournament was against Nicholas Jarry.
Yep.
Nearly 4 hours. What a dud of a match! Did I set my expectation? I don't know if it was a dud. The first set was quite interesting. I thought that was very compelling. Definitely not the best quality tennis, but like in terms of like because we had so little data on them. Um, yeah, but I agree. It certainly wasn't like an amazing match.
Yeah, it was not amazing. Definitely not. It was definitely less than we expected.
Yeah,
Does that say like anything for Alcaraz in regards to the rest of the event? I'm
I,
not so sure, but
yeah, but
he
it
will
does
be
show that
like
Alcaraz
delighted to
is
get through, right?
it does show
In
that
free.
Alcaraz
Uh-huh.
is superior to these guys, and Rune is like honestly, I think Rune is not that far. Like he has closed the gap quite a bit, uh, but there's still a decently big gap. So he's got a like he's maybe still a year behind Alcaraz.
Yeah, that's been more or less true, I guess, over the past 3 years or so.
Yeah, like
Sometimes
I'm just saying
closer, sometimes
in terms of
further.
development, physical development, and also just game wise. Oh, okay. Well, there it is. Okay, I'm just gonna put out that tweet. Hopefully, maybe if I'm wrong, someone will correct me. But I think it's true.
Risky business, but yeah, guys. That was the Alcaraz and Rune match. As we sort of touched on in the past couple of minutes, it was not that amazing. Definitely not. What's the best ATP match so far? Asks Ghosty. And John says Struff Alcaraz Madrid, but he was asking about Wimbledon. What's the best match on Wimbledon on the men's side so far? Let me sort of look at the draw and think of it. Dimitrov Rune is a fine contender, I think. I did not see enough of Davidovich Fokina against Rune, so I cannot really speak on that. But I think Dimitrov Rune is a good contender. Murray Tsitsipas? Is that a good contender? I think so. Eubanks Tsitsipas as well. Some people would also say Team Tsitsipas probably. I'm maybe not so high on this one, but I do understand it. Rublev Bublik was super fun, and it was only fun, of course, because of that huge comeback. But still, it was really good. And Hurkacz Djokovic, I think, was really excellent too. Maybe like lacked a fifth set to make it a true classic, but I think both playing days were really
Yeah,
compelling as well.
Team Tsitsipas, Team Murray, or sorry, not Team Murray, Tsitsipas
Tsitsipas,
Murray.
yeah.
Uh, what other matches? I mean, I guess Rune Dimitrov. You want to put that in there?
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
Even though that wasn't a 5 setter, but still it had
No, it was
a little bit of
excellent. It was
fanaticism.
excellent. And a good
Uh,
amount of drama too.
yeah.
So yeah, that these
The
would be, I think, like the main choices. Like right now, like just looking at it, I think I would be going for maybe even Rublev Bublik over Dimitrov Rune, but you know
Of course, this is also Alcaraz's third major semifinal in a row because he didn't play Australia. But yeah,
yeah, almost Arina Sabalenka.
I would
Nobody
put
said
Rublev in there too. Yeah, I probably would.
nobody said any of the Alcaraz matches. I mean,
Actually, I'll put Alcaraz Jarry. I'll put that one. I
yeah.
think that
And
deserves to be up
I
there. That
actually
was pretty
said
high
a
quality.
match from Djokovic Ghosty. I said Hurkacz Djokovic, so
Yeah, I put Hurkacz Djokovic for sure. That was pretty
yeah.
compelling. Uh, just the drama and the tie breaks, and
But
then like Hurkacz actually
that's how
winning a
it
set.
always is, right? That
Yeah,
the main title favorites usually don't end up running into that much
yeah,
trouble. Like
yeah,
on a very general level, like it's a huge generalization, but if you're running into this much trouble in the first few rounds, you're most likely not going to be like one of the main title favorites.
yeah.
That's just how it works. Of course, there are going to be examples when this isn't how it pans out. I don't know, Angelique Kerber playing Misaki Doi in the 2016 Australian Open, but most of the time that's gonna be more or less true. And John actually says that last ball drops begins in 120 seconds. I think that means that we have to get off the stream, right? Because I don't think there could be like two streams going on at the same time, or could there? I don't know. But anyway, of course, we need to get going anyway. We've watched the Alcaraz Rune match with you. Hope you had fun. We did, even though the match ended up being slightly disappointing. Thanks, and see you on some other Talking Tennis shows.
Yep, thanks a lot. A lot of fun, great comments, a lot of good commentary and side conversations, and yeah, had a blast.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.